Hi everyone, welcome back to really lots of lore. And I'm T-Pat or ThomasPatrickWX, and we'll be running Let's Go Eevee any percent, no mount skips, yes to the cutscenes, and that should be a pretty fun run. I'm really excited to watch the cutscenes because I know they are very good, and it's something we've probably never seen for years and years. So very excited to do this run for you. And I brought with me a very good friend in Razor. And Razor, while you introduce yourself, I am going to start my clock here, which is a little important for the run. So yeah, go ahead and introduce
Just a
yourself.
little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Hi guys, my name is Razor's Edge 7. I traditionally do a lot more Pokemon speedruns, but I've actually done a lot more Nuzlocke lately.
I was gonna say I've been seeing you be on the Nuzlocke scene recently.
It's kind of fun. I enjoy it.
So as I enter the game, it takes about 45 seconds, and sorry if my voice is a little thin. It is still super early in the morning for myself. But I set my clock to try to get a bonus Moonstone at about the 30-minute mark of the run. I'll point it out when we get there, but it is the reason why I'm actually I have like a separate clock going right now to make sure that I'm still on my system time before we even start the time. But the time is going to start, and if we are ready, and if you're ready, Razor.
Yeah.
All right, I will count us down from 5. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And I counted it down very slow because I was actually watching my clock. So that way I could hit an exact time to do math correctly. But basically I waited exactly 1 minute to enter the game. So if you saw me enter the game or set my time to 11:32 p.m., it was now exactly 11:33 p.m., which means it's going to take exactly 27 minutes for the clock to roll over, and that will be the important thing. But otherwise, standard Pokemon stuff. We're going to set our name. We're going to be P today because I want to have fun.
Although there is one other reason we set our time, not just for the double moonstones, but we'll go over that later.
Yeah. And then here's our rival. It's not blue. We're going to name him Q.
It's Trace.
Sorry, I'm going to be kind of little clearing my throat a lot today, I'm sure. I was drinking water, so I am hydrated.
Bit of a cold?
No, I was drinking last night. Listen, everyone had a really good time last night. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, but it's left my voice a little thin. Oh yeah, this is Let's Go Eevee, which is kind of like the Pokemon Yellow spiritual remake. But instead of getting Pikachu as our starter, we have the other version, which asks the question, well, what if you got the Eevee and then your rival got the Pikachu? So we are going to play out that version of the game. And I get to save a little time on that menu because I don't have to set skip movies option because we're going to watch all the movies.
Which will be different. I've never seen a run done where we're actually watching the movies.
Oh, the cutscenes are so good in this game.
They really are.
For sure. They are so good. Whew. But yeah, this is actually the first Pokemon game that was released for the Nintendo Switch. And because of that, it looks beautiful. I still think this is the best looking Pokemon game in the series.
1000%.
And it being the first game released on the Switch, which was what, 2017? No, 2019? I think 2019.
Was it 2019?
I think it was 2019. Because I think Sword and Shield was 2020.
Yeah.
And Brilliant Diamond was 2021. And then Legends Arceus was
about
2022. Right. And so too was Scarlet and Violet. So I don't think there was 3 years in between. But you'll notice here, we'll be undergoing the first mechanic of the game, which, for any of you Pokemon Go players, this might look a little familiar. And this is kind of the whole point of the game. This being called Let's Go, Go as in Pokemon Go, the mobile game, where it had the circles that would kind of like spin down, you physically threw a Pokeball at it. all of our wild encounters will be exactly like that. With just like, you'll see there's one exception, but you don't even have to worry about that. There's a couple exceptions where you actually have to fight the wild, like legendary birds, and then you go into the catch mechanic, but we don't really see that in this run.
Yep.
So instead, I have to use the Joy-Con controllers. You can only use the Joy-Cons, the Pokeball Plus, or the Switch in handheld mode for this game. So you can't use like a Pro-Con or like another just regular controller. You need to use the Joy-Cons.
Correct. But that actually comes in handy, and we'll use that to our advantage.
Oh, first cutscene of the game. Razor, would you like to see this cutscene?
I mean, we're gonna watch all of them.
Aw, isn't Eevee so cute?
He's adorable.
Yeah. So, like, this Eevee popped out of the grass in Route 1, and Oak let us catch it. And now Eevee was just like, you and me are gonna be best friends forever. And the Eevee
You're
actually
naming this
popped...
after our good friend, right?
I didn't even know there was a naming incentive.
You know who I'm talking about.
We're just gonna go with Eevee. I am gonna check its nature just to make sure it is good. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Sweet. So the Eevees will always have perfect stats. If you're familiar with Pokemon games, all Pokemon have the individual values, the IVs for all of its stats, but the partner Eevee will always have the best possible, 31 IV, in every single stat line. So the only thing that's different is the nature, which will increase one stat by 10% and decrease another by 10%. And there's also a characteristic value, but the nature is more important. Basically, we can't run anything that's minus attack, minus special attack, or minus speed, with one exception. We can run minus speed if we do get the plus special attack, or plus special attack nature, which is quiet, because the increase in special attack helps us out big time in the mid game, and we can like risk some minus speed nonsense to get that bonus instead. So it ends up being I think 14 out of the 25 natures are considered runnable. There's a ton of Pokemon on the route right now.
Yeah, it's 56%.
And then I'm adding the one. That would be 13 out of 25.
Yeah, you're adding the one, which, I mean,
so it's like 60%-ish.
Yeah.
If you're running on the Pikachu version, you actually don't have to worry about minus speed, because the Pikachu is so fast that minus speed just doesn't matter. And it's also worth noting that this Eevee is special. This Eevee has stats that are much higher, like base stats, that are much higher than the normal Eevee does. So it actually makes Eevee quite viable as one of our main Pokemon that we'll be using. And the same goes for Pikachu if you're running on that version. It's just, their stats are juiced. And it's to help to compensate that, like in Yellow version, you couldn't evolve the starter Pikachu. In fact, if you tried to use a Thunderstone, you would get a very mean, like Pikachu being like, no, I'm not gonna use that. And the same is true for Eevee. We cannot evolve this Eevee, and you cannot evolve the starter Pikachu in the other version either.
Nope. But you get boosted stats, so like this thing's a monster. This Eevee's really, really good.
Yeah, so, somebody asked what was the nature. I got was a hardy nature, which is just neutral. So basically, one of the stats was increased by 10% and decreased by 10%, so it's neutral, which is totally fine. But I also took a look at the characteristic, and the characteristic is usually like this funny text line that says like, loves to take siestas, or is alert to sounds, and normally the characteristic correlates to what is the highest IV of the Pokemon you caught. But since Eevee is 31 IV in all of the stats, the characteristic helps to influence a different mechanic called AVs. So
Yes,
this is
Eevees,
where
not Eevees.
yes. So in normal Pokemon games, as you fight Pokemon, say if you fought a Shuckle, since the Shuckle is a defensive style Pokemon, you would gain defensive EVs, and then that stat would grow a bit faster than other stats if you like only fought Shuckles. But that mechanic does not exist in this game. Instead, we get what are called AVs, or as we semi-recently learned, they're also called Go Power. But AVs are basically a +1 in one of my stat lines on every single level up, which ends up being more effective than the EV mechanic. And when we look at the characteristic of our EV, it helps to influence a higher chance of getting those AVs in that stat line. In this case, I have a Mischievous EV, which is very good because now I'm more likely to get special attack +1s on every level up, which is very good because I just mentioned that special attack's like one of our more important stats. So it almost feels like your nature gives you a boost in one of your stat lines, and your characteristic also gives you a boost in one of your stat lines. In this case, I'm neutral, and then characteristic plus special attack.
Yep.
Is what I like to call it. And thus, this EV is actually quite good.
Yeah.
There's
early
one...
game we'll mostly use our attack. Mid game is where we'll start to run more of our special.
Yep.
That's where we run into more of the issues with some speed occasionally, if you're a minus speed. For beginners, I don't recommend running minus speed. You can do it. It's fine.
Or
It's just a couple fights are a little bit more jank, but...
And you'll also notice that all the Pokemon spawn in the overworld. Like, brilliant. I love it that way.
So do I.
So like, it was kind of like a mix in Sword and Shield, where there were both overworld encounters and underworld encounters. But this game's all overworld encounters, which is awesome because we get to see all the Pokemon that spawn. And we'll just dodge them all for the most part.
Now, will Jocelyn actually be kind this time?
Yeah, probably. I have to kind of go around because there's a bit of a Pokemon wall here, and that's not a trainer.
Yeah.
1% Beedrill spawn already. Oh, we're already
You've
looking
seen my
good
luck
here.
with Jocelyn, haven't you?
Oh yeah, your luck with Jocelyn is awful. So there's one more trainer. She has Pocket Sand. Pocket Sand. You know, it's bad. But I want to start talking about the more important part of this game that's going to happen, which is the catching portion of this game. Since this is a Pokemon Go influenced game, there is a lot of catching mechanics that are going to be very important, and it's for one simple reason. I need to catch 50 Pokemon, unique species of Pokemon, in order to complete the game, which is totally unheard of for almost every single Pokemon game and or category. There's only one other category that's like this, and it's Fire Red Leaf Green Elite Four Round 2, where you have to catch 60 Pokemon. But here we have to catch 50 to even progress the game, because there is a hard requirement to enter Koga's gym that I have 50 Pokemon. So I have a Pokemon tracker on the side here, and we'll be going, and I'll be starting to catch a bunch of Pokemon in the forest. But I actually haven't caught any of them, and this wild Metapod I ran into, I'm just gonna run away from it. And that's because I don't want to catch anything until I have this important item, and it's called the Lure. Razor, would you like to explain the Lure and what I'm about to do?
Yeah, so lures will actually enhance the spawns of Pokemon in a specific route, as well as every Pokemon at spawning after the lure will be the max level of that route +1. So in this case, when the max level is 6, without it, everything will be a level 7. Which allows us to, 1, get more experience, and 2, in some cases, if you're doing like alt mains or something like that, you can guarantee your higher level, which just makes things a bit easier. But that's not really going to be all that helpful when we're running this. There's other categories like the Tom Pass or something that
there we go.
a bit more.
Okay. Oh my god. I am specifically going for one of these glowing Caterpies because I kind of need the extra EXP.
Yeah, the extra EXP is really good. So every gym leader in this game has a requirement. The first one, Brock, requires either a water or a grass type.
And how many grass types are in the game before Brock?
2.
And how many water types are in the game before Brock?
0.
0. Brock's requirement
Literally
is
0. You have
Brock's
to have a
requirement
grass
is
or
that
water type. Well, by the way, you don't get one.
You literally cannot enter Brock's gym with a water type unless you trade it into the game. There are only 2 grass types that are even available, and it's Bellsprout and Bulbasaur. So I'll have to catch one of
Bulbasaur's a rare
those 2.
encounter.
Yeah. And Bulbasaur, by the way, is a 0.5% encounter, or what we would call the rare spawn. On most routes, the rare spawn is usually a Chansey, but it depends on the routes. Like in
I swear
Victory Road,
Chansey's not rare.
yeah. In Victory Road, Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan can spawn as the rare spawns.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me.
And and all the starters, Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, are all rare spawns on certain routes.
The last time I ran AOP, so the all obtainable Pokemon, I got double Hitmon.
Wow.
But the run died to Agatha.
Oh. You don't pick up the Max Revive? I love the Max Revive strat.
I'd already used some because Giovanni decided to crit.
I'm so close to level 10, I'm just gonna... That's fine. I'll actually get it on the Metapod.
So
I was gonna say, I'm catching the Pokemon A to start to get towards that 50 goal, but the other hard requirement is I need level 10. Because even though we go into Brock's gym with a grass type, Oddish would be better, which is on the Pika version.
1000%.
But Bellsprout's not really that good, so I need level 10 for Eevee to get the super effective move for the rock types, which is Double Kick. I just cannot enter his gym if I'm not level 10. I won't have the correct move.
The real reason for that, though, is because Oddish has Absorb, which is a special move. And all of Brock's Pokemon are very physically defensive, but not very specially defensive. Bellsprout, meanwhile, is pure physical. It's not going to hit very hard.
I did have an option
even if it is quad effective.
I did have an option to catch one of these glowing Pidgeys to get a bunch of extra experience, but I was determining that if I was far enough from level 10 that I really needed it.
Right.
Because the idea of catching Pidgey here is that I'm not going to evolve that Pidgey. It's going to take too many levels. Because levels happen one at a time. So for each level, it's da-da-da-ding, 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 and that time certainly adds up pretty quickly. So if I catch a Pidgey here, I'm not going to evolve it, and then I would be forcing myself to try to catch a Pidgeotto later if I wanted to get Pidgeotto. Which is
catching Pidgeotto is not the greatest.
Yeah, much more difficult of a catch.
Thankfully, there's Nana Berries, which can freeze it in place, but
yeah, we're out of Viridian Forest. That was very standard. Catch both the bugs, catch your Bellsprouts, and hit level 10. I have kind of done like the absolute minimum, and I didn't get any really big bonuses. The nice part of the glowing Pokemon is that they just have an extra EXP multiplier. So it is just like Pokemon Go, but instead of like your trainer, total EXP, we're actually gaining Pokemon EXP. And you can get bonuses for first ball, like hitting the circle and getting a nice, great, or excellent throw, but having a big or a small Pokemon, which are the glowing ones, also give us an extra multiplier on top of that. And for the early game, I really, really need at least 1 or 2 glowing things. Otherwise, I'm not going to hit level 10.
Well, you also have the option of getting, like, there's a possibility of, like, it's a glowing one, so, like, either the big or the small. They can be extra big or extra small, and then you just get an even bigger multiplier on it, and that gets
another
insane.
×3. So, all in all, if you catch anything, first ball, with the 2 balls, which we didn't explain yet, on an excellent throw, and it was very large. I think it's like a 29 point something multiplier.
Something like that.
And it's it's excessive. Like, usually a Bellsprout gives you like 150 experience. Getting a super big Bellsprout will give you like 800 experience. It's just a massive difference, especially at these early levels. That I could be 2 levels higher right now. Brock isn't super scary. Again, we got double kick. That was the whole reason why we needed to hit level 10. There are 2 shots on both those Pokemon, but using Tail Whip on the Onix is a little faster than going for the 3 shot.
Yeah, because of the extra animation, because it would have to hit twice on the 3rd one.
Yeah, this is decently slow.
So the real reason we're using 2 Pokeballs is because we're using Joy-Cons. Each Joy-Con is considered its own controller.
Oh, yeah, I should probably show you that I'm, like, button mashing. I'm, like, crowding the left Joy-Con. Like, the right Joy-Con doesn't do anything right now. It's all on the left Joy-Con. Well, left is natural for me because as the two controllers pop up, they pop up as left and right. Like player 1's on the left and player 2's on the right. So that's why using the left Joy-Con feels more natural. But you can use whichever one you want. I'm just saying, if you want to learn this game, I would prefer that you learn the left Joy-Con. Otherwise, you might be getting yourself confused in those catch screens when you have the 2 sides popped up.
Well,
I'm just saying, you can do it either way. No one's gonna stop you. I would just say, as a professional Let's Go player, use the left Joy-Con. Your brain will thank you later.
Yes.
I'm buying X items. You want to explain that?
So the real plus side on X items is this has the, I do believe it's Gen 7?
Gen 7, because this is a Gen 7 game.
Yeah, so this has the Gen 7 mechanics with X items, basically meaning that instead of going +1 for each X item, which most people never use in their casual playthroughs, let's be honest.
Yep.
They're now +2, which will effectively double your stat, which is kind of broken.
Yeah, so if you use it for attack, then your attack will double. If you use another one, then your attack is tripled. And if you use another one, then your attack is quadrupled. And that's as high as it goes. It only goes to stage +6.
Yes.
And it works in the opposite, but then it's math, and we're not going to explain that.
It's really good, but on top of it, it maintains its Gen 1 pricing.
Yeah. So they're
which
cheap.
Is the cheapest of all of the X items. So now they're not only really cheap. Okay, Sneck is really good.
Yep.
But they're also extremely good and allow you to set up very, very quickly, which will come in handy. You'll find we use a lot of X items in this just so we can quickly one-shot everything.
Snake is a good bonus here.
Snack is a good bonus since we never got the Pika in Forest.
Exactly. So in Forest, I could have gotten a Pikachu as a 5% spawn. It didn't spawn. Or a Bulbasaur, which was a 0.5% spawn. That didn't spawn. So I didn't get any of my bonuses. But that's not like a big worry. Also, I just spent an outrageous $500 and bought this Magikarp.
Worth, because it's
Scam.
a free, quick Pokemon. It's faster than catching.
This is actually the fastest Pokemon to catch in the game. Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase that. This is the fastest Pokemon to register in your decks in the game. Because it's not out of the way. It's literally just one enter a Pokemon Center animation. And the text to get him is really short. But the big difference is there was no catch animation. It just went straight into my Pokedex.
That's true. That's true.
Usually Pokemon take about 30 to 35 seconds to obtain. But that Magikarp's closer to 20. So that is objectively the fastest Pokemon to obtain in the game.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly. With the exception of 2 Pokemon that we will get as gifts later on throughout the run.
It's actually faster than those 2. It's faster than those 2 because Lapras, you have to elevator to a different floor.
Yeah. Although,
and
to
there's
be
a
fair, we
gate.
also get the rare candy right by the Larpus, so...
Right, we make it worth it. But there's more text on the Larpus than there is the Magikarp. Because he's like,
And then you get
oh,
the
you
Porygon.
rescued us. Oh, why don't you take care of this guy? And then the Porygon, you do have to run out of the way for. And he also has more text than the Magikarp guy.
Yeah.
They're, don't get me wrong, those are also two very fast Pokemon, but
They're
Magikarp
insanely
is
fast.
the fastest.
Those three are the fastest to get in the game.
So you
Which
saw
is really handy.
So you saw I did use another lure. I picked one up in the grass in the last route. So I'll be doing our next catch sequence here. Here I'll be looking for Paris, Geodude, and Clefairy with some bonuses. And this is, oh my god, I have to take that. I have to take that immediately. So, the thing about rare spawns.
Ho, 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 ho.
Oh, this is actually really bad because I just forgot the bugs are in my party. You know what? You know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Like, this is a great meme. Okay, so Chansey is a big old sack of experience. And if it gets it first ball, I'm gonna get, like, a lot of EXP. Okay, this is actually good that I didn't catch it like that. I do need to be careful about my Great Ball count here.
Yes.
I actually cannot do another throw on this.
Uh-oh.
Because I won't have enough Great Balls for everything else. Come on, please just catch. Please just catch. Alright, I do have to run from this.
Unlucky.
I had to run from that. It's actually okay because everything else on the screen is already spawned.
That's the danger. Thankfully, the Paris and the Geodude are glowing. Just hope that the Geodude actually gets you the good cycle.
Yeah, I'm banging on that too. You also saw that so for the Chansey, both of my balls were Great Balls. You are using 2 resources, but obviously the catch rate is much higher. For this Paris and the rest, I went back to the Pokeball because I need those resources to be where I want them to be.
On the plus side, you didn't have to worry about the EXP going into the bugs from that.
Yeah,
Downside
that's
is
why I was kind of
Great
like on the
Balls.
fence. It is kind of it's kind of bad that that the Chansey did swat away one of my throws because that did cost me quite a bit of Great Balls. So I'm gonna pick up some extra Great Balls in this run. It's not a big deal, but like I just need to make sure that I catch the 3 things that I came here for, which was Paris, Geodude, and Clefairy. They are all on the screen, which is nice.
Yes, it is. But very notoriously, can be kind of a pain in here. But the real thing that we're worried about when we're in here is we have to get to level 15 because that is the requirement to get into Misty's gym, is you have to have a level 15.
We could do the backup strat if it doesn't work out like that. It's a little cringe, but the backup strat is you go through Nugget Bridge first.
Yeah, that ain't cringe at all. That only weighs like 45 seconds.
I've actually done the halfway where I fight rival first, get 15, and then just go back into Misty's gym.
I've done
So
that too.
I don't even do the full bridge. I just do rival first.
Assuming Geodude cooperates, that should be a non-issue, thankfully. Especially if that Clefairy would have been glowing. That would have been huge.
Not crit cycle, just an extra cycle. You play this game enough, and you understand when Pokemon are likely to do their like attack cycles, and you just get better at knowing when to throw to hit your excellence. It's like the one thing that will. I was supposed to deposit there, but now I can't. I have to wait for the Clefairy now. I was gonna deposit 3 things and then do 2 sets of deposits. It would have came out about even, but now I have to wait to do just 1 set of deposits and just get all of my Pokemon at the same time.
Now will we get the double Moonstone?
I do have a chance. I was in the catch. I was just in the Geodude's catch animation when the clock turned over.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not catching literally anything else.
Oh, no. Catching Zubat here is not worthwhile. You can catch it later in Rock Tunnel, where it'll evolve in a single level into Golbat, and catching Golbat in there is a pain in the neck. Don't recommend doing that.
Yeah, no. I used to try to catch Golbats in AOP, like when I was first learning, and it just ended up not being worth it.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Let's see if I can dodge Zubat. I'm gonna do-si-do right around him. I did get double Moonstone. So if you remember from like 2 minutes ago, I had picked up that Moonstone and it just respawns. A 50-50 chance to respawn. And I did get
After the clock rolls past midnight, mind you.
Yeah.
Which is why we set the timer in the first place, so that we have the chance for it to roll over to like past midnight after we've picked up the first Moonstone. And that gets us a chance at getting double Moonstones, which will give us 2 evolutions instead of a single.
And you also need to not be in the room. And when I say in the room, I mean on the screen in the room when the clock turns over. So if I was just like sitting in that room and the clock turned over, it would not respawn.
Nope.
Instead, I need to be either outside the room, or I need to be in a catch, like I need to be in a battle, like in a catch sequence, in an evolution screen, anything else that doesn't physically put my character in the room. So in that case, during the Geodude catch, the clock rolled over, and thus the Moonstone had that chance to respawn. It did. So that basically gives me an extra Pokemon to work with.
Which is handy.
Very. I'm actually doing pretty good on my catch count, even without the Chansey.
Well, even without the Pika. Had we have gotten Pika on top of this, you're looking really, really good. Like, that would have been the ideal start.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking out loud here. A Clefable could spawn 1%. So too could an Onix. It is not worth it for me because remember I only have 1 Great Ball right now. So I just don't have enough resources anymore since I went for the Chansey to actually catch any of the other rare-ish spawns. I don't want to get people confused because Chansey is the rare spawn. But there are 2 1% spawns, which someone's like, oh, that's pretty rare. And it's like, no, that's right, but the mechanic of the game separates the rare spawn with just what is like the normal spawns. And 1% is a normal spawn. Because going on catch chains increases the chance of that rare spawn. So if you've ever shiny hunted in this game, as soon as you get to, and obviously as you chain, you increase your shiny odds. When you get to 11 Pokemon caught in a row, the rare spawn becomes a 50% chance, 50% chance to spawn, which basically guarantees that it's gonna pop up on the screen pretty soon. So, like, if you were going for, say, a Ponyta, shiny Ponyta, and you were farming on Route 17, a Chansey's just gonna spawn while you're doing that.
Oh, yeah. And more than likely, that thing is going to spawn anyway because I swear it's not rare, but...
There's also another weird mechanic of the rare spawn. There can only ever be 1 on the screen at the same time. So once it's populated, another cannot spawn.
This is very true. Which we actually used to our advantage in the AOP run.
Yeah, that's how we force Hitmonlee to spawn. Because you can only get 1 of the Hitmons in the dojo. And if you're real lucky, they both spawn.
If you're really lucky.
If you're really lucky. 35's pretty good.
Yeah, 35's solid, especially at 14, like 15.
15. That's good. So this is the first range of the run. A range being I have a chance to KO, but also a chance to not KO. And that will be James's coughing will be an 11 and 16 range at my current attack stats, which I will go for.
11 and 16 is not too bad.
69% if you're doing your math and rounding.
Nice.
Nice. It is. That's a pretty nice range. Is it a great range? No, it's a nice
No.
range.
13 and 16 is a really good range. We take those. So anytime we say ranges, anytime you use a move, there's damage ranges that, like, it'll basically randomly roll a number 1 through 16. Like
Yeah,
16,
it's like rolling a d16.
yeah, literally. And
I miss
like,
the range. Oh, that's
there will
cringe.
be a certain amount of, like, on the highest range, like, you can do, say, for kicks and giggles, say like the low roll would be a 13 and then the high roll would be a 16. And say if it takes 15 to kill, then you might have like 3 or 4 or 5 of the numbers that actually get killed.
Right. So that's a good case. So I rolled one of the lowest 5 rolls. So on my d16, I rolled a 1 to 5. And I did not kill the coughing. And it also poisoned me in retribution, so I do have to do an extra menu now.
Thankfully, we don't have poison outside of battle.
Yeah, there's no poison outside battle. But it's still fine.
I'm so glad they got rid of that.
Since I don't have another spot to menu, I'm just gonna do it there.
Yeah, this is where it's fine to heal here. Obviously, there is one other fight before Misty that does have, like, with a Goldeen that does have quick attack. But that's not going to do a
Yeah,
lot.
this is fine. This is fine. Alright, so we've made it to Cerulean, and now we're going to start to see Eevee shine. At this point, I've mostly been using Double Kick and Headbutt, which are 2 pretty solid moves. But now I want some even more powerful moves, and instead of evolving, I'm gonna get special moves that are the same type as all of Eevee's evolutions. This move tutor will teach Eevee the moves of basically Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. So I'm gonna have these wickedly powerful water, electric, and fire type moves to really, really round out my moveset here. Razor, how broken are these moves?
So keeping in mind that this Eevee's already got boosted stats as it is. So a boosted stat, like 75 base attack on this thing with a stab headbutt early game is ridiculous. No, let's go ahead and add, all of these are 90 base power with the worst moves, like the worst move names possible, let's be honest. But
you mean the best move names possible.
I mean, it's better than Baddie Bad.
That's the best one! That's the best move!
No, so the fire type move, Sizzly Slide, is a physical type move. Like, it's a physical move that will always burn.
That's crazy. It's the secondary effects of these moves that...
90 base power always burns. It's kind of insane. Now, the water move is, like, the water and electric are both special. The water, Bouncy Bubble, will always, like, it basically acts as a 90 base power Giga Drain.
Yep, so you're healing
As a
yourself.
water. So it will always heal, which is really handy. It means we have to worry about less potions. And then the electric will always paralyze.
And it's the burn and the paralyze that you'll see us use to effect. And obviously, electric beats water, so we're gonna use that move against Misty. But it actually really helps us out in this fight in particular. Even though the Psyduck is now gonna be KO'd in a single turn, Misty's Starmie is very fast. And it will outspeed us. But that's where we'll use the paralysis, the guaranteed paralysis, to basically be outsped the first turn, and then we outspeed the second turn. It is also a miracle I did not get burned by Scald, because let's face it, Scald
It's like
allegedly has a 30% chance to burn, but it's like 90% in this game, so...
Much like how, if you ever try, so for anybody who plays Pokemon casually or whatever the case may be, if you try to use, say, a hypnosis or something like that, you like never hit, but the AIs always hit.
Always.
Always.
But yeah, that's why we have to hit level 15. The requirement to go into the gym is to have a Pokemon level 15. And that's a theme of this game, is that there's a gym requirement to enter. We mentioned it for Brock, was to have the water or grass-type Pokemon. Misty's is 15.
Which makes the
like,
EXP on
Surge's
all of your
is
catches
just
really
use-
huge.
Yeah, and Surge is just, you do the cut, like, hit the cut bush outside. And it's like, okay, that counts. And then Koga's is to get the 50 Pokemon, which is what the run is routed around. But my favorite is Erica's, and it's you have to show Erica a cute Pokemon.
Which for the longest time, May thought that always meant you had to show Doduria. Fun fact, no. You can show it anything.
Okay, so this brings up a good point. So Razor, you know our good friend Josh, the 4th gen gamer.
Yes.
He just came up with a Nuzlocke that's called a Cute Lock, and went through every single Pokemon with his chat and his community to determine if they were cute or not.
Oh, I'm very
And
well aware.
honestly,
I also
I
finished
think
mine.
if Erica had something to say about it, the answer would be all Pokemon are cute. There were like these heated discussions. Is Porygon a cute Pokemon? Erica says yes. Erica's like, oh my god, I can pet it and it's so cute.
Oh, I should have used that as my argument on some of these, because there were some that I
know,
would have
just-
said, yes, let me catch this, please, because I completed the cute lock.
I just
Yeah.
thought of that too.
To be fair, I got Celebi as my starter,
That's cute.
and then I got a freaking Kyogre,
Yeah, hashtag all Pokemon are cute. Exactly.
and I got a Latias.
You know what? Latias is actually cute.
Latias is.
Just, just ask Ash Ketchum.
My encounter luck on that was ridiculously cracked.
Oh, this is
Just-
Nugget Bridge. Nugget Bridge is actually really easy in Eevee version, because now that we got our OP moves, I could actually use them, but it's just faster to click headbutt because it's slot 1 for a couple of these.
And it stabbed with a boosted Eevee.
Yeah, just all my moves are incredibly powerful. Like, my most powerful move is still headbutt, which, by the way, was the TM I got for beating Brock. This game is special because the TMs that you get from the gym leaders are the really good moves. Like, Surge gives you Thunderbolt, and Sabrina gives you Psychic, and even Brock gives you Headbutt. Giovanni gives you Earthquake. Those are the best moves of the game, and to have them as, like, the gym leader TMs is actually kind of neat. We will use a couple of them, as we have already, to help to round out our movesets.
So Sabrina doesn't actually give you Psychic. You get that from the house inside of Saffron. But
Oh yeah, that's the Mr. Psych guy. What does she give then? Is it Light Screen?
I think so. It's either light screen. I think it's light screen.
I know Erica gives Giga Drain, and I know Misty gives.
I never
Scald.
actually paid attention. We just blitzed this. Like, I've only ever speed ran this game. I've not played it casually, so I don't ever pay attention to what it actually gives you.
And I know Koga gives you Toxic.
I just know for the so I'd done a Haunter alt main, which is fun.
You and your Haunter alt main.
Hey, it's a fun run, and fun fact, it can actually get like a sub 310 relatively easily, which for an alt main is pretty fast. The fun part with that one was figuring out how in the world you're going to get Haunter past Sabrina, because everything outspeeds you pretty much. Well, Jinx and Alakazam outspeed you, and then they one-shot, but...
Sorry, I was just thinking about my next set of catches. There's a couple bonuses coming up. I could see Meowth or Venonat in this little itty-bitty little patch of grass coming up.
Or you could get the rare encounter Squirtle.
I would love to get a rare encounter Squirtle. Oh, I forgot to pick
I've
up
only
I
had
forgot
that
to pick up
once.
the extra Great Balls Razor. No. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. To be fair, so when we very first started running this, we always ran Pokeball in the second ball slot. Till relatively recently, when it was discovered that the second ball also affects the catch rate.
Basically, if you're throwing 2 balls, you're using the average of the 2. But we didn't know that that was the case because, you know, like in Pokemon Go, if you use a higher level ball, the color of the circle will change. It'll go from like red to orange to yellow to green, with green being more likely to catch.
Yep.
Well, it turns out that that circle is only influenced by the one of the highest level balls that you have in that screen. So if you have an Ultra Ball and a Pokeball, it'll go off of a single controller Ultra Ball catch rate. But if you have Ultra Ball and Ultra Ball, it'll look exactly the same, and that's why we thought for the longest time that that second controller ball doesn't matter. So it was like, okay, just go Ultra Pokeball because it's only using the Ultra Ball. Turns out that that's false because the actual when we got the actual data in and the actual catch mechanics, it does factor that in.
It does, and it makes a really big difference, which is why you'll find us pretty much double Great Balling and then later on double Ultra Balls.
I don't really go to double Ultra in this category because we don't really get that many Ultra Balls. We only get 8.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair. So it'll be like more Ultra Great, but
like there,
double
like
Ultra
if I have to go for Magmar, I will use double Ultra Ball. But
yeah,
that's like the last possible catch. So it's like just use your resources.
Or if you're trying to catch the Eevee.
Yeah, and so in catch-em-all runs, since you need to get the 3 evolutions, you have to catch 3 different Eevees. That's usually the point where I switch over to double Ultra Ball for the rest of the run. Yes, Amber, this is no mount skips, but yes to cutscenes, and we will be seeing our next cutscene here. So we're here at the Pokemon Fanatics house. This is Bill. That's not a Nidorino. This is Bill. And he's like, I'm stuck. So, but it's not his Kabuto costume. Like, he's just actually a Pokemon right now. So we have to help him out.
So this is the point where the best category just leaves him hanging.
Oh, listen
just
to the
leaves
music
him hanging
in this.
And you leave.
Listen to the music in this. It's just da 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 da. Oh, there goes Bill. Oh wait, no, there he is. What if you used a Moonstone on Bill instead of helping him? Well, he would evolve because he's a Pokemon. Well, I guess we saved Bill from himself, to be honest. In return, he gave us tickets to that SSN. Listen, this was all his decision in the first place, okay?
I still think Ditch Bill's a great category. It's a fun meme category.
Oh yeah, Ditch Bill is... It's a meme category because... Was it Joker? I think Joker is like the inventor of the category because there is a point where he talked to Bill and instead of saving him, he accidentally left, gets to this point of the game, and the cutscene doesn't let you progress, and he's like, I ditched Bill. And then he vowed to never do it again. And then he did it again. And now it's an actual category extension on speedrun.com that you can blitz the game up to Bill and then ditch him. And it takes about, what, 35 to 40 minutes?
33 to 38 minutes-ish, something like that.
The difference there is obviously we wouldn't be catching as many Pokemon because there's no like catch requirement.
Nope.
You would still need like enough levels to beat the game. It's much easier to do in the Pika version because of the Oddish. You can just go into Brock's gym without like a level requirement. Unlike Eevee, which you would still need to get level 10.
And Pikachu doesn't get the different types of moves. It only gets the single move there when we got 3. But the move that Pikachu actually gets is just completely cracked.
Yeah, Pikachu also gets busted moves. It's a different variety. than what Eevee gets. It's very obvious for Eevee. Like, there's a move for all of its evolutions. So there's a Psychic move, and a Dark move, and a Grass move, and an Ice move. And a Fairy move. But for Pikachu, it's a little different. I think, what, is it Zippy Zap? And Zippy Zap is a move that has a very high priority. I think it's +2.
+2 priority and will always
crit.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, so when we say priority, like, think Quick Attack and Extreme Speed. Quick Attack's a +1 priority, and Extreme Speed is +2. Fake Out is +3, and Protect is +6. And that's why Protect always goes first, because it has the highest tier of priority. Yep. But Fake Out is the only damaging move that's at that high of tier. You can only use it on the first turn of it coming into battle, which we've actually seen. The Meowth and Nugget Bridge used Fake Out on me.
You mean like when Etiquette did the damageless run?
I forgot that he would have had to do that. Okay, next section of catching, since I just used the lure. This is Route 6.
With only a single Great Ball, yay!
Oh, so the rewards for beating trainers are Pokeballs and money. So I do have some more Great Balls now. It was just leaving the tunnel, but some of the trainers in... Sorry, I'm thinking here. Because nothing is spawning. Nothing is spawning.
Where's Vulpix and Puff? Hello?
Oh, Puff's way back there. Damn. It despawned! No! Okay, well... Oh, Abra. Something. So we got something. So Abra's the bonus, but... Oh boy, that was in fact a route.
That's a Route 6.
So I usually like to just throw right away for Abra, but because of my low Great Ball count, which is, by the way, 3. So I have gotten 2 Great Balls from trainer battles since.
Yeah, that's not great. Thankfully, we do have our second of 3 different shops really, really quickly.
Okay, I hit level 18. That was, like, super required. I forgot that I wasn't quite that high. I will still catch a Vulpix or Jigglypuff if it spawns, but my lure has run out. Now, the level doesn't matter, but Pokemon tend to just not spawn on this route unlured. That was a little closer than I would have liked it to be. Did you see how close I was?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I flinched. I thought I was a little too far to the right. Yeah, you can split those trainers exactly down the middle. That is probably the most difficult trainer skip in the game, and I have to do it twice.
I would agree. So the fun thing with trainer vision in this, it's literally like draw a straight line in front of them.
Yeah,
there's
they're laser
no side vision at all. Their peripheral vision is non-existent. Doesn't exist.
What's really nice about those trainers is that their vision doesn't exactly like line up. So
no,
you
it does not.
Split them right down the middle.
It's kind of jank. It's kind of a little bit jank. It's a very specific spot. And if you're like basically a frame or two to like a pixel or two to the left or right, you're kind of gonna get hit. Thankfully, they're both single poke encounter like trainers, so it's not a massive time loss, but. So this is the first point where speed actually comes into effect. Because our rival that we will be facing in this boat, like on the SSN here, leads a Pidgeotto with 40 speed.
Correct.
If you don't have that, it can outspeed you and use Pocket Sand.
And it tends to not because of the setup that I use. So we'll be doing our first battle as a 2-on-1.
Yes.
of the game, and my partner Pokemon right now is Bellsprout in the second slot. So because Bellsprout is weak to, say, Wing Attack, the rival's gonna favor trying to attack the Bellsprout with Wing Attack than, say, Sand Attack the Eevee. But if we outspeed, it's no problem. We don't know our speed because I just hit level 18 during a catch experience, and you don't see your stats during those screens. You only see your stats during battle.
You
so
were,
a bit of
to
an
be
unknown.
fair, you were at 35 at 15, so you should be okay.
Yeah, that should be okay, but it's not guaranteed. It just depends on how many AVs that I've gotten. And by the way, AVs will recycle every 10 levels, so the AV you get at level 6 will be the same as you get at level 16 and 26, 36, and so on. So there's only 10 of those levels that matter, but we only need like 1 or 2 to be okay here. But yeah, this is the first battle where I am 2-on-1ing the opponent, and that's because since both of the... Oh, I did get sand attacked. I didn't see who got sand attacked though. But the 2-on-1 mechanic here, it's because we have 2 Joy-Cons, and each Joy-Con is its own player. So by doing a little shake with the Joy-Con, we can summon the second player. Like, think like you've got like a little sister, like a 3-year-old little sister that wants to play with you. You can give her the second Joy-Con, or him the second Joy-Con, and it's like, here, just like run around the map. Okay. And it looks like they're playing. But in this case, we do utilize the second player. I did get sand attacked. It was me. Because I did just miss that headbutt.
Yeah, sorry about that. I might have jinxed that one. It favors going for the Bellsprout with a Wing Attack. It won't always do that.
It won't always, yeah.
This
No,
is why
right.
you always
Why'd you
want to
think
have...
something, Razor? This is all your fault now.
That was a speed tie.
Yeah.
You lost the speed tie.
So I lost a coin flip, and then I lost another coin flip because Sand Attack can go into either of the Pokemon. And then I also lost it not choosing to go for Wing Attack, so a fair bit unlucky.
Yeah, you want to have, like, that one there, ideally you're over 40 speed, so you always outspeed it, and you don't have to worry about it.
But I have no control over that.
Nope. Minus speed, you're never going to have 40.
But I was saying, like, yeah, with the 2 controllers, we use that to affect not only in battles, but primarily in the catching. I've been using it for every catch, by the way. And that's why you can throw the 2 balls at the same time.
Yep.
You're just getting a higher catch chance with using 2 balls in a catch, and more experience. So it is just infinitely better to do it that way. We also have our next cutscene.
The exception of being able to use 2 Pokemon to catch. Well, 2 Pokeballs to catch.
Bye! Bye! Can we say
So,
goodbye to the SSN?
If you're in the water or in the air, you cannot use 2 controllers to catch. It's a single.
Yeah, the second controller cannot be in the air or the water. But we are mainly going to be on land. There's a couple water catches in the late game. All right,
There's a couple, but not
I gotta
massive.
do this trainer skip again.
Thankfully, it's a lot easier coming back up than it is coming back down.
I always like flinch when I do it. And by the way, if you're just like, oh, you have so much wiggle room. No, there's not much wiggle room on that.
There's not.
There's not.
There's
that's
almost
genuinely
no wiggle
the hardest
room.
one to hit, and it's harder going down than it is going up, because going up you have a lot of time to line yourself up.
Yeah, you do. That's definitely the hardest. And then, well, our good friend Joker keeps saying it's really easy to do it when you're mounted on like a Rapidash or a Persian. I'm like, no, it is not.
Oh, it totally is. I've never missed that skip on Rapidash.
I've only gotten it like once or twice, and I almost always hit
I get it every time. Every time. All right, I'm just updating my tracker here with. So because I didn't get the Jigglypuff and the Vulpix, I still have kind of some big unknowns in terms of what my catch routing is going to look like.
Yeah.
I might be getting the doing the cut bush on Route 8.
I would probably do the cut bush at this point, depending on how your Buck Tunnel goes and Route 10 goes.
This is a little spook.
It's a little jank. We're missing Puff, and we're missing. Thankfully, hopefully we get both Nidos, because both Nidos would allow us to get Nido King and Queen.
So yeah, I was gonna say that I have double Moonstone, and I did catch the Clefairy, but it went directly into my box.
Yeah,
so I didn't
that would
get
be
a
the
chance to
worst
evolve it.
case scenario. Ideally, we don't have to use a Firestone. This may be a run where we have to use a Firestone.
Oh, I'm actually planning on it at this point.
So, fun fact. We're currently in Route 9.
Mm-hmm.
The lure kicks in. Like, the reason we set up our lure where we do here is just to make sure that when we do get to Route 10, every Pokemon that we see is already on the lure. All of them. If you use the lure when you're already on Route 10 here,
it could be.
There's a very real possibility some of them may not be on the lure.
It's a catch-22 because when I use the lure early, it almost always looks
Runs
like.
out.
No. It's when I use the lure early, there are no Pokemon on the route until I'm on the route. And it's like, oh, I didn't need to lure that early. If you don't lure that early, there will be Pokemon on that route. It is just the
100%.
weirdest thing. It's the weirdest catch-22.
I've had it many times in like AOP or something where, well, almost always in AOP, where I go to do that and I forgot to do it early. And I go to catch like.
So for example, there are no Pokemon yet, but I am lured.
Yeah. It's like I'd caught a Krabby that evolves at 28, and I ended up catching it at 20. I'm like, oh.
Okay, this is actually really good. By the way, I did wait for all 4 things to spawn because when you're on a catch chain, the Pokemon that you just caught, even if it's one Pokemon, a catch chain of 1, that Pokemon gets a 5% additional spawn rate. So if I would have just caught this Spearow right away, Spearow is now more likely to spawn on the route. Slightly, but it is. I think that was also a big one. Well, no, I just got normal experience.
Just normal.
I usually don't get excellence on this route because there's so little experience here that once we start switching to double Great Ball, that you only need a nice throw to guarantee your catches on this route with double Great Ball.
This
and
would
that's,
be
that's
where
the biggest change of like knowing the catch rate formula is, okay, now I don't have to wait for an excellent throw. I can just go for a nice throw if it's available. And just those faster cycles is what's really pushed this game from at the time a 302 to now a 258.
Which is ridiculous.
That and some other like fight and circumstantial changes, but the catch rate stuff is it's more consistent and faster. But yeah, I'm gonna use both of my Moonstones on the Nidos.
Yeah.
So there, I didn't wait for excellent. I just wanted him to stand on the ground so I could hit that great throw, and this is guaranteed catch. So in terms of the Moonstone, there are the 4 Pokemon that you can Moonstone. Jigglypuff is the fastest one because Wigglytuff, I should say, does not learn a move on evolution. And the others, you'll have to decline a move relearn, which is a couple of seconds. I think it's like 4 seconds. But it's just much safer at this point.
Yeah. Yep. The other thing that you can get on this route is you can get a Rattata, but you can get Rattata anywhere.
Yeah, Rattata's really common. This is definitely a very good route.
This is very, very good. The other one that can spawn is a Krabby, which would be a 4-level evolve because you'll catch it at 24 if the lure is up. And then that evolves at 28, which honestly wouldn't be bad at all. That would actually be really good.
I might wait a second to get that next spawn pop up, and it was a Rattata. Alright, now it can bounce. The only other thing is the Krabby, and I actually don't even want the Krabby at this point. So again, same thing, just went for the nice throw because it was available. See, that's one of my better Route 10s. Route 10 can be so scuffed. like you could get 4 Fearos, and it's like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Route 10 is a reset point. Route 10 is 100% a reset point. It's a time sometimes. But this is the nature of having to catch Pokemon.
Well, now I have to go for it. Like, are you kidding me?
That's a Route 10. Jeez. Let's just quickly get all 5 of them. Dang.
All right. See, I actually went for... Oh, my God. What do I even do here? I just, like, don't even catch Pidgey. No, okay, now I don't go through the cut bush. I think I can just not get Vulpix and Jigglypuff at all now.
Is it really that good for you right now?
Totally fine. If I don't get Vulpix and Jigglypuff and Pidgey, I still have 50 planned.
Holy.
Because I just got a boatload in this section. So that ended up being technically a perfect Route 10. I caught all 5 things.
It's so good.
So now I'm definitely not going through the cut bush because that's just slow and I don't need I don't need it.
That's so good.
And I still have like Pidgey as like a big flexible option. In this case, I actually don't catch Charmander even if I see it because I'm so far ahead. And when I say so far ahead, it's actually weird. I'm actually behind on catches, but I have all of the things that will evolve in one. So I have 6 evolutions coming very soon.
Yes. Getting all 5 pokes on Route 10 is rare, to be honest. And that was really nice.
So I have to go for Buzzy Buzz here because I need to outspeed on this next turn. I was in danger of dying by not missing that range. This Raticate is a very favorable range, and I just did not get it.
You're favored to go, like, to get it with 2 headbutts, but...
That Raticate's basically plus speed minus defense, and yeah, that did not go over well.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm just so... I'm quite far ahead on catches.
The fact that we already have Hero and we've not even left this route.
It's because I caught everything on this route. Remember, the Spearow was the first thing I got.
Like, this is like one of the best Route 10s you can get. Straight up.
So in a PB attempt, I probably would have actually ignored Krabby. I personally think Krabby's a little slow. Because it evolves in 4 levels, not 1. But for a marathon, there's no reason to not take it.
Well, I mean, that or, like, if you're behind on pokes, then you 100%
Oh, yeah, if you're behind, you get everything that's available. But I'm at the point where it's because I'm not behind, I can be a bit more frugal. I can be a bit more decisive. And say like, oh, I don't need Charmander because Charmander is not exactly the best catch rate in the world. And since I'm well ahead, I have so much flexibility to be like, yeah, that's not one that I need to go for right now.
Now, will we see the 1% Kanga in here?
Maybe.
Just because it's not AOP.
I usually just go for the crit, but because I was low HP, I was just like, I'll go for a headbutt flinch here.
Unfortunately, I didn't get the flinch, but we heal before the next one anyway, so it's fine. Yeah, so as soon as you're on Route 10, you keep your lure up all the way through Rock Tunnel. Well, until you have all your catches in here. And there's a number of them.
Great throw on that. Okay. That actually wasn't guaranteed on a nice. It was guaranteed.
No, it's not.
I had to like double check my notes on that one.
Machop was one that became very handy once we went to double great instead of great and Pokeball. Because great and Pokeball, even with an excellent, it would sometimes break out.
I'm gonna do a menu here because I have enough things to deposit and switch back in.
And does that evolve both Nidos?
Yeah. Well, not yet. I don't have Nido.
I didn't think that evolved the Nido, like the Nido.
No,
like
but I have like 3 things to deposit right now.
Yeah.
And I need to put the last 2 things I just caught in my party because they're not getting experience. So like if a Graveler pops up, it's gonna be real bad.
Yeah, it'll just be faster. Like whenever you have multiple evolutions with stones, like you have the double moonstone, it's better to always moon both if you can at the same time. But since we're already in the menu, it's
this is so marginal. It's more important for me to do this swapping, this party managing now, than it is to optimize that double moonstone evolution.
Yep.
And this game has a lot of this isn't like in the notes that, oh, do Moonstone, deposit these Pokemon. No, you have to be able to be flexible and know kind of what is your most optimal, like, just situation at any point. So I need to actually go like
that's the fun part of this category is you have 50 different Pokemon that you have to get, including evolutions, mind you. But you're now having to literally route it on the fly. Because you never know exactly what you're gonna get as spawns, so you get to route all of your catches on the fly.
And that's what makes this
to make sure you can get the 50.
Is that there's just so much flexibility.
It's such a good run. Would highly recommend.
And this is a great beginner speedrun. You might be thinking, oh, you have to be flexible, you have to think on the fly. It's like, yeah, but that's like the complicated part. The easy part is that there's no fights that are dangerous. There's no situation where it's like, oh, if you like miss this range, you die. You know, there's none of that. You actually just get to play the game.
Well,
and it helps to build your experience by getting those repetitions and just overall playing. There's nothing worse than getting to Hideki 30 minutes into an Oras run and be like, well, I just died. And that doesn't really... I knew
you would say that one.
It just doesn't help you and like get your skill set up if you're just dying in the first 30 minutes of the game. Here, there's only been really one fight that was semi-dangerous, and it was Misty. I could have been crit by Scald. And it's really only getting crit and burned is where it's like dangerous.
Yeah.
But we're an hour and 10 minutes into the game, and there's one fight that was dangerous.
And crit in this game is 1 in 16. So like...
No, 1 in 24.
Oh yeah, you're right, 1 in 24.
Yep, Gen 7 changed.
I've been doing a lot of like the Gen 3, Gen 4 lately, so I'm used to...
Yeah, and it's only 50%.
Yeah, so it's fine. Now granted, there's a number of different fights where a crit can and will kill you, Giovanni.
I have to menu again here because I forgot to heal, and because of that, I'll do more party swapping. Because I have 2 things to deposit now. Again, it's generally fast to be like, oh, if you have 2 things to deposit, you should deposit it. Plus, this Cubo went into my box anyways.
Yeah.
So again...
So unfortunately, no Kanga immediately.
No, stop worrying about Razor. Stop worrying about Kanga and start worrying about Rhyhorn.
Oh, what? You don't want to ride the Kanga?
No. No. This game has been bullying me enough in practice that I would prefer to have a pretty normal run. Rhyhorn's our most important Pokemon here because we haven't seen it yet, but you can ride your Pokemon. Like, you know, like a Rapidash seems normal, but like you can ride like anything. You can ride a Snorlax if you wanted to.
Riding Snorlax is so funny. It's just so big and you're literally just planted on the front of it, almost giving it a hug while it just walks around.
But to that point, Rhyhorn is important because unlike X and Y, Rhyhorn is very fast. It's in kind of like a medium-high tier of speed, and it will just help us progress the game faster. If we don't get it, we just outright lose a minute. Just the movement alone.
It's definitely faster than walking. So ideally, you get Rhyhorn almost immediately.
I'm also low on EXP too. Like I really,
that.
I
23
really
at this point's really low.
Yeah, like I was actually in danger of being outsped by this Kangaskhan by not being level 24.
You're gonna need an excellent on Rhyhorn.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
yeah, which is why I'm gonna be making sure I bury them. In fact, it's the two Pokemon that are worth the most experience that I haven't seen yet, which is the Graveler and the Rhyhorn.
Which explains why you're only 23.
Yep. And in case you're wondering, no, Charmander does not fix that. Charmander is actually not worth all that much EXP.
It's not. How are we not seeing any of those two? Graveler spawns all the freaking time.
Yeah, Gravelers are usually just like, what? Oh, I see what. And it's glowing too.
Okay. Now, if it's a massive Graveler, suddenly that EXP becomes less of an issue.
And massive is actually good because most of the Pokemon in my party are the 4-level evolving kind, so it actually utilizes all the EXP that I could give.
So early game, well, mid game in this case, there are 3 Pokemon that will evolve in 4 levels. Those being your Machop, your Cubone, and your Krabby. All of which will evolve at level 28.
My PB catches none of those.
What?
Which is technically faster because I'm saving 10 seconds to 4 level ups and to decline a move. It catches none of the 4 levels. Yeah, it is that crazy.
Did you even catch a Chop or Cubone?
Nope. No Chop, no Cubone.
What was your catch count? Jeez.
It was... I don't remember, man.
That's
I
ridiculous.
genuinely don't remember. It's been a while.
That has to get the Pika... Like, that had to have gotten, like, almost literally everything. That's ridiculous.
I remember just being scared out of my mind because I did have a low catch count coming out of Tunnel. And I just somehow squeezed it out at the end.
That's ridiculous.
That was massive! I got 4,800 experience. There we go.
And that right there is why getting massives makes such a big difference.
So there's very few wasted levels here. In fact, it's only the Zubat that got 2 extra levels compared to normal. Everything else utilizes these levels.
Yep, which loses about 2 seconds per level.
So I got that 10%. It was very big and not just regular big. So instead of 1,800 experience, I got 4,800. But yeah, that's great. That fixes my EXP problems for the rest of the game.
Yeah. 27 here is ridiculously good.
Raven, did I tell you I caught a massive Raticate on Route 10 in a practice run? I got 5,000 experience. It was worth more than the Graveler.
How was Eradicate worth more than Graveler?
I don't know, but it was worth 5K, and I was just like, oh. And I had all things that evolved in 1 level, so I had a lot of wasted levels, and I was like, oh boy.
See, when you're running like the all obtainable Pokemon, getting a huge Graveler is beyond great, because then you're getting almost everything you evolve at once. Also, there's our Rhyhorn.
Oh, usually it attacks. Okay, we got everything. And yeah, I'm just gonna ignore. I'm legit just gonna ignore Charmander if I see it, unfortunately.
Yep. But rare Char.
Please also don't be massive. Okay, thank you. I actually didn't want this one to be big because then I would have had a lot of wasted levels.
What? You didn't want to evolve You didn't want to evolve the Chop, the Cubone, and the Krabby all at once in here?
What? No.
And hey, at least you won't have the speed that I did the one game run.
So I'm almost level 28. I'm getting 28 in the next fight. And because of that, I should have just repelled it. In fact, it's actually going to benefit me to repel at this point.
Yeah. Yep. Mostly because one of the really common encounters in here is Onyx, which has a absolutely massive hitbox.
And those two Rhyhorns are in the way. It's faster to do an extra menu to repel than it is to take a single encounter. And in this case, I already took the single extra encounter.
It takes like 6-7 seconds to run from an encounter. Like to get into it and then quickly run.
So once I hit level 28, I will be teaching the move Double Edge. Double Edge is very, very powerful. And it will save me a handful of turns at the cost of it does the recoil damage, which does mean I use more super potions along the way. But this is a totally worth it point to use it. It's actually kind of weird because I got it in the middle of this fight, where I would actually still prefer to just have Headbutt to finish off this fight, because now I'm going to take damage where I didn't need to, because I invested using the X attack. Basically, you X attack, headbutt, headbutt, or you double edge, double edge. But because I learned it in the middle of the fight, it was a little weird. That's the second time that's happened to me.
Traditionally, that fight there is pretty free.
No, that's one of the dangerous ones. It's
very dangerous.
No, it's one of the lower threshold dangerous fights. Basically and it's not the Vulpix, though the Vulpix can burn. That just loses time. The Kadabra is pretty fast. It'll outspeed you with Psybeam. 10% chance to confuse. 1 in 3 chance to hit yourself in confusion. If that happens, you are a little in trouble. But that's only a 3% chance. So that's why it's not free. But it can go
It's not free. That can be one of the more trouble fights early, but I mean 99% of the time you're perfectly fine.
And here's the weird thing, like it's a marathon run. You would think I would still just safety save for every situation where I could die. But I haven't at this point because we have our trusty second controller in the wing. At any point, I can summon the second controller to 2v1 a player. And
this is very true.
And that bailout strat is just much safer than safety saving.
It's so good.
I have 32 Pokemon leaving Tunnel, which is very high. Like 33 is usually max.
Yeah. I think I've had like 34 like once, but that's obscene.
Yeah, I've had 32, 33 a couple times, but I've probably just as many times have left Tunnel with 26, which is very low.
26 is absurdly low.
I think Etchy had 24 once, and I was just like, what are you doing, man?
If I had 20, like if I leave Tunnel with 26, I just reset. I just straight up reset.
I think my PB leaves with 26 or 27 because, again, I was just, like, dangerously low. And I'm just like, I'll make it work.
My problem is my late game's really, really good. So I'm like, if I'm already, like, pretty much right on PB pace, but low on pokes, I just reset. I'm like, nope. Nope.
Sorry, I had a thought, and the thought was, the Rattata's not my party. My Rattata... Wait, did my Rattata evolve?
I don't even remember. I don't...
Why do
Well, I mean, you have to use a escape rope here anyway.
But that doesn't help me understand if Raticate is evolved or not. I have to dig into my, I'd have to see my box, and checking your box is very slow.
It is. I don't actually remember.
Yeah, I don't have it marked.
I don't think it
I
evolved.
might have it, but I don't remember.
I don't think it was in the party.
I don't think it is.
Because that was like one of the last Pokemon you caught.
Yeah, it was the 4th out of
And the last
5.
Pokemon that was in the party was a female Nido, so no.
Yeah, I don't think it's evolved. So, but it's fine. We have Machoke already. I've never had Machoke this early. Oh my word.
I've never had Choke this early.
That's very weird. Actually, I could do a deposit early, but that's actually not optimal right now because with Kingler and Marowak so close, I would just wait anyways.
The fact that you were that close to having Kingler, Marowak, and Machoke in Rock Tunnel is ridiculous.
And that's something I picked up from my AOP experience, is that you want Pokemon to generally evolve at the same time, like in at least pairs.
Yeah.
So you're gonna notice that Machoke, Cubone, Machop, Cubone, and Krabby are basically going to evolve at almost like around the same time, which allows me to basically deposit them in one swoop instead of having them be deposited one at a time.
Which I've started to do in my own AOP runs. Courtesy of you.
Just optimizing that just feels so nice because then you have such a clean party management situation. And even with the like the Graveler, for instance, I caught a Graveler once and I had like 5 evolutions at the same time. And it's like perfect. And that makes that decision making just so easy. It's like, yep, I'm just gonna pause it and switch everything up now. No questions asked. So the best case scenario is once I get Marowak and Kingler, I'm gonna deposit them, and then I'll be in my box to see if I need to pick up that Rattata, which I likely do. So I have a way to see. I just have to wait. I have to be patient here.
Yeah. Playing since we got it at 24, it's hardly an issue because there's plenty of catches later that we'll have to.
It's also not a bad idea for me to pick up one if I see a Vulpix or Jigglypuff. But I think it's only optimal for me to get one of them. Because if I get one, I can get Pidgey or Pidgeotto as like a pairing. Basically what I'm thinking about right now is that my catch count is at 32. It's an even number. And most Pokemon you catch will effectively come in pairs. Psyduck and Golduck. Ponyta and Rapidash, Doduo and Dodrio. When we're catching Pokemon, we want to, in most cases, we're also evolving them if they evolve quickly. So most of our Pokemon are coming in pairs. So I want to stay on this even number best I can. And by getting a Vulpix, does that help me? I actually don't think that helps me at all. If I get Vulpix, then I can catch Pidgey, but I don't want to bank on Pidgey. It's all very weird. Maybe I just don't. Yeah, I'm just gonna not, even if I see it.
I think Pidgey into Pidgeotto would be faster than Vulpix into Ninetales.
Oh yeah, I'm not doing Ninetales at all. That's not even an option. Though what's weird is that Pidgey is a 3, because it's Pidgey, Pidgeotto, and Pidgeot in just 2 levels. But I actually don't want the 3. Because the 3 would put me back on an odd number. Hey, Razor, what am I doing right now?
So right now we are actually resetting for natures.
Yeah, since
so now
this is a Gen 1 remake, there are no abilities in this game.
Nope.
You know, just like in Gen 1, there are no abilities in this game. But that Abra can help us synchronize.
Yep, so now we gotta synchronize, and now everything for the rest of the day which will reset at midnight, which is why this is the main reason why we set the time before midnight. So the rest of the run, we're guaranteed every Pokemon we catch will be a modest nature. So plus special attack, minus attack. That is
I didn't heal. Of course I didn't.
Being able to do that will make the Pokemon that we main through the last half of the run ridiculously good.
I had to do this very slow.
This attack set's something.
I should have healed because I got outsped. I'm such an idiot. Now I have to do a menu again. So I made a mistake, which has actually costed me quite a bit of time here. The mistake was I didn't heal going into this fight, so I opted to heal turn 1. I still took enough damage that I still have to heal before the next fight. Oh, it's just so sad. And that's one of those things where it's like, it's not in the notes. Made another mistake. Hit the wrong button. This happens a lot to me. I usually snowball out of control once I make a mistake.
It's very easy to do.
That's so cringe. Whatever. But yeah, it's not in the notes. Like, that's just something you have to run on the fly yourself, and I made a mistake. But yeah, I'm getting to the point where, like, using the 2-controller feature is slow. So let me put it this way. If it takes 2 turns to kill a Pokemon, it's faster to do it with 1 player than it is with 2 players. However, this Hypno, for example, with 1 player would take 3 turns, but with 2 players takes 2 turns. So it is faster to do it this way. So 2-controller, 2-turn, basically 2 inputs, versus 1-controller, 3 turns. Part of it is because you keep seeing my secondary player pop in and pop out. That does take time. It takes usually about like 2 seconds. So to even summon and desummon the second player, you're investing 4 seconds. And to do that all the time tends to add up.
Yes, it does.
I do have to heal going into this fight because I'll be using the double edge strat.
This is why I almost never teach double edge.
I did just opt to use a potion instead of a super potion to save 1 more resource and I'll be fine.
Which is good because super potions will be really great later on a very certain fight.
Yeah. So this is a great example. This fight seems simple. It's just a Rattata and a Voltorb. There's 3 different ways you can do this fight. You can do it the way that I'm doing it, which is use double edge twice. Okay, 2 turns, it's the fastest, but I also had to heal before the fight. So I had to menu to heal before. I'm gonna have to heal after, but the fight itself is the fastest. I could also do this fight with 2 controllers in a 2-turn, which is like 4 inputs. But I'm using the bouncy bubble like healing move, so you don't have to heal at all going in or out of the fight. So it's just a matter of just like, how do you want to do this fight? You could also do it 1 controller with bouncy bubble and X special attack turn 1, and then just get bouncy bubble twice. It could be a range on the Voltorb, so it's like you're managing so much information on just a simple Rattata and a Voltorb fight.
Yep.
Because I've taught double edge, my idea is I'm investing in using double edge. Like, I want my fights to be fast. Even if it is costing me more resources and super potions.
Which, more often than not, is fine. There can be times with a certain fight that just gets to be absolutely trolly. But
okay, here's Krabby.
That will not happen here. Our Archer will be fine.
I'm not worried about Archer. And I'm not worried about Archer because in Pokemon speedrunnings, there's two different types of dangerous fights. There's the fights you can die to, and there are the fights that you can lose a lot of time to. And the Archer fight in Silph is you can lose a lot of time to this fight. If you're going on PB, it's like the worst fight in the game. Not because you're ever really in danger of dying, but because for each additional turn that you take, it's actually a lot longer because the game just, for some reason, lags a lot more.
Yep.
And you can just lose like 20, 30, 40 seconds on a fight for no reason. But again, you're not that likely to die. So in a marathon setting, I'm not worried about Archer because what's 40 seconds in a marathon run? Honestly, not that much. We're watching the cutscenes. I've already easily given up 40 seconds compared to like my best times. Like at this moment, I'm almost 10 minutes slower than PB.
Also, by the way, chat, don't do this at home.
Yeah, Eevee looking kind of sus right now.
Well, no, I'm talking about the character
vent.
standing on a
I
chair
saw
with
her
wheels.
vent. I saw Eevee vent. Actual imposter. So sus.
Eevee is sus.
Sus V?
No. You
Sussy?
grab the... I love how the character grabs a chair with wheels to get up on. I'm like, don't try that. Don't try that.
The upcoming fight is going to be another Jesse and James fight. And this is where there are two Jesse and James fights that are a little spooky, and it's these middle two. Because they now have the Arbok and the Weezing. And the Arbok is, extremely unlikely to kill in just one turn. You would have to have very high special attack to make it work, and it's usually just a range at best. The Arbok is also very fast and will be outspeeding us. The Arbok can use Poison Jab and Glare. Glare being a move that can paralyze us, and paralyze means that we have a 25% chance of not even being able to attack on that turn. So these fights tend to be, again, a little dangerous. Not dangerous enough for me to have to save for.
There's a reason the notes now say don't get unlucky.
Yeah. These can go south more ways than one.
Yep. So, there's a question in chat. Is there a speed difference between Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu? The answer to that is not really.
Not really. The first 2/3 of the run are different because just Pikachu and Eevee operate differently. However, they kind of come out the same. As I'm generally focusing here. This is actually fine.
So the main reason is Pikachu's faster very early, but Eevee makes up a lot of the ground in the mid game.
The mid-early game?
Well, yeah, the mid-early game, like basically through. It's like Pikachu's faster through basically Mount Moon, and then from there on, like into basically Rock Tunnel. Eevee makes it all up.
Oh, I got level 30. 61. That's not particularly high attack. 61 isn't too bad though. My special attack isn't too bad. And that's the mischievous characteristic coming through. Sorry, I have to menu.
Thankfully, right here, we're pretty much just strictly using special moves.
I am gonna burn this last potion just to save that super potion. I do lose. So because I've used all of my potions, this is a good opportunity for me to just mention that our bag is so beautifully packed right now that using X attacks and X special attacks in battle both take one input. Using an X attack is a left input, and using a X special attack is an up input. By now using all of my potions, everything has slid over by one, and I now lose what's called the God menu. Very small optimization, but one that top level runners have very much worked to keep intact. So now I have to do 2 inputs for this X special attack. And by the way, getting to 61, I did have a chance to kill that in a single turn. Ooh. It was a 6 and 16 range. I did not get it. But I did opt to use that last potion because I didn't want to use another super potion because I'm already starting to get a little low.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not right. Hey Razor, why did I use Bouncy Bubble instead of Blitzy Glow on the last turn? Do you see why?
Yeah. Because help.
So the Eevee, I have now hit that threshold where Eevee has a high enough friendship that when I use a super effective move on any Pokemon, Eevee's gonna turn around and be like, Eevee knew you could do it! And I lose 2 seconds to what are called turnarounds, which are friendship turnarounds. So now I need to try to limit the number of super effective moves that I'm using. Sometimes it's not possible. But that's why I would use Bouncy Bubble turn 2 instead of another Glitzy Glow, just to save 2 seconds.
Could be worse. You could be me and have turnarounds in frickin' Rock Tunnel.
Alright, and again, Giovanni's another one of those, like, it's kind of dangerous, not dangerous enough to save for fights. I'm not going to be doing the risky strat, by the way. My attack stat actually isn't high enough to do it.
So the risky strat here is, this used to be a very fun 2-controller fight. We don't even 2-controller this anymore.
Oh, I didn't. Hold on. I thought I went to this fight at full health, so now I'm going to 2-controller it.
Oh. Yeah, that's definitely a 2C.
No,
wait, you want to be full health here.
Hold on. I have to think. I didn't think about how I wanted to do this, because usually the Persian goes for fake out, which it did. Okay, now I'm going to be fine.
Yeah. So traditionally, this fight with 1 controller is a single X attack, which traditionally you'll get fake out turn 1. So you can't hit through it anyway because you'll flinch. And then you'll run in, then you'll use your Sizzly Slide. Persian will always outspeed you. Always.
Always. It's too fast.
Way too fast. So then you'll hit it with Sizzly Slide, which guarantees the burn, which will have its attack. If you're not minus defense, you can go again and not have to worry about getting killed, even with the crit. And then Bouncy Bubble just simply OHKOs the right horn and you get all your HP back.
Yeah, because I didn't go into that fight at full health, I was just not going to live.
Nope.
And then there's even a riskier strat, by the way, Razor. Instead of Sizzly Slide, you can just OHKO with Double Edge.
Yeah, that's very risky.
And it's very risky, not because of the recoil damage, but because since you're not doing the Sizzly Slide, you only have 1 chance for this to work. And if you miss the range, it is bad.
If you miss the range, you're dead.
Yeah, if you miss the range, it is very bad. But we good.
I never go for that unless I'm like really, really high attack and I already taught Double Edge, but if I'm really high attack, I don't do that anyway.
I'm in this situation, so I am gonna party manage here because I got those 3 evolutions.
Yep.
Because you saw I just got the Marowak. I'm gonna party manage here, put the Rattata in my party. And then we're gonna go back to Pokemon Tower, which one of my, probably my favorite cutscene in the game is in Tower.
I would tend to agree. Also, what in the world happened to HMs?
Oh yeah, they're just these secret techniques. And Eevee learns them. Because Eevee's the bestest pal ever.
Fun fact, Pikachu also gets the exact same ones.
What a party. What a party. Have you ever seen such a party?
This is actually insane. The fact that we already have Machoke, Cubone and Kingler already is kind of insane.
And that's the power of one massive Graveler did that.
Because more often than not, all 3 of those evolve on Route 17 after power.
And what's wild is that not a moment before that, I was just complaining about how my experience was low. And now my experience is high. That is just simply, that's like a 3,000 experience difference. I went from being quite low to now quite high in the EXP column.
Yep.
It is just wild how that can turn around. And I wouldn't say you ever bank on getting like a massive, you know, glowing catch at any point in the run. But getting it in just the right spot can make a big difference. And I definitely got it in just the right spot.
That was
we also don't lure for Ghastly because you are pretty likely to get it to just spawn, and I've now saved myself a lure. I actually don't think I have a... Yeah. I don't have a Nana Berry anymore. I'm out. So I'm just going to wait for it to stop moving. Perfect. Oh, that was a great throw. This is still 83% to catch. I thought I threw it at just the right moment to get a great throw instead of a nice. Ended up connecting a little fast. Hopefully I just make this cycle, because I know this. Oh no, she's moving right now. Okay. Man, Pokemon Tower is weird. Either everything spawns or nothing spawns. I'm gonna go for a trainer skip here. She didn't even look to the left. So that spinner can look to the left, and you can just like walk in front of her because trainer vision is so laser thin that like you can just like squeeze by trainer's vision.
Which there will be some already.
So that could have been a good example. There's a really good example in Giovanni's gym that I'll showcase, and then it will become vitally important that we dodge a trainer's vision in that way in Victory Road. So that's what I'm going to tease.
Yes. What, you don't want to see the greatest Pokemon of all time?
No. Oh, only on Route 10 is a 1% spawn, my friend.
That's not the Pokemon. Well, okay. Yeah, that is a 1% spawn.
Yeah, it is a 1% spawn.
That is a 1% spawn.
So since I lost my God menu, I'm actually going to pick up an extra item to repair it.
And even then, we don't want to, like, if we're running this game, we don't want to see that as a 1% spawn.
Yeah.
We want to see the 4%.
The Pokemon we're talking about is Dragonair. There's the trainer with a Dragonair that I'm going to be skipping, and yeah.
I love Dragonair. It's great.
Good poke.
It's a very good poke. And I would argue better than Dragonite. Yes, Dragonite has better base stats, but quad weak to ice is kind of bad.
Okay, so here's a weird thing. I'm just thinking out loud here. If I see Pidgey on Route 17, I'm going to evolve it into Pidgeotto, but not Pidgeot, because I don't need Pidgeot.
Mm-hmm. Getting that hyper there is actually really good just because of the current state of heal items.
It's safe for this next Jesse and James fight specifically, but I did pick it up just to put my God menu back in place. Yes. And then here's my favorite cutscene, is using the Silph Scope. It's the Marowak. Can we get some thumps in the chat? Damn, that cutscene's so good.
It's so sad. That cutscene hits the feels.
Yeah, that's the whole point we're running this run, was just to watch that cutscene.
Yep.
Alright, now we're back to Jesse and James. I think this is the third time we fight them? J&J 3?
Yes, it is. Third of the 4, actually.
And this is probably their most scary fight. It's just like the one that we just had in Hideout. They're a little higher level, but the key is I actually did take a little bit of damage from the Sucker Punch on the Haunter before. So I'm actually at a little bit less health than I would like to be. Honestly, being a neutral Eevee is probably the best case scenario here. Because minus defense can be a little spooky.
Oh, minus defense is really spooky if you've already taken some damage.
All right, this is going to be a pretty safe scenario here.
Yeah. So we noted, like we mentioned, what the other ones do. Glitzy Glow is a psychic type move that always sets up light screen.
Wow. And what about the dark type move? What's it called, Razor?
Batty bad.
Batty bad. No, I got crit and I died. Man, that's so lame. And I healed on that turn too. Oh my god. Oh, it's so lame because I healed and I was at full health. Okay. I'm gonna do the backup strat here. So I'm gonna go for Drill Run. Okay, that's good. Do you have... Yeah, we'll Sucker Punch you. Just please don't miss this Drill Run. This is kind of important.
Drill Run's, I think, 95%.
No, not the flinch!
There goes the...
Yeah.
This is why this fight can get kind of spooky. Originally...
Don't miss! Okay. Drill Run's 95% accuracy.
Yeah.
This is all scuffed. I'm actually gonna... you're gonna hate me for this, Razor. I'm gonna center heal. Because the Pokemon that need experience in Route 17 and Eevee, just everything is KO right now. I literally only have Rhyhorn in my party. And that's not...
No, I would actually agree to that.
And I kind of want to keep a revive in my back pocket, so...
I don't blame you.
So that went so far south so quickly, simply because I got crit by Dark Pulse from the Weezing, and it crit through Light Screen. And that just made that fight just so much worse in a hurry. That was so weird to have it happen exactly like that. Because again, 1 in 24, I don't get crit. I take a third of the damage. Instead, I took the full force of that damage. But yeah, this is a bit of an unscheduled spot.
Yeah, traditionally in Pokemon speedruns, you don't want to use a Pokemon Center. It's slow.
I ran over some debris and I got a flat tire, and this is an unscheduled pit stop in my F1 race. Man. Now, I won the fight, but at what cost? Time. Lots of time.
What's a marathon run without some crazy RNG, right?
You want to know the craziest thing about that, Razor? I gold split that split.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I gold split that split simply because I got no evolutions. And, like, hardly even any level ups.
That's fair.
So, the amount of time I lost to the Jesse and James fight was offset by me just not getting any level ups or evolutions. Yeah, that's weird. I have a gold split on that now. And that's why gold splits don't matter in this game, because typically if you get a gold split, that means you caught no Pokemon, which is usually a bad thing in this game.
Yeah.
If you gold split Rock Tunnel, you're like, oh no, no, not like this.
This game, like whether like where you're at as far as like ahead or behind, doesn't really matter until realistically after Blaine.
Yeah, and even that, you can say Sabrina
Well,
or Koga.
I'd actually probably more say Sabrina than Blaine actually, because Sabrina is where you have to have the like you do Sabrina before you do Koga.
There's that weird menu where you could just get full picks Ninetales after Sabrina anyways. So it's really Koga is the deciding factor. This is the easiest, oh my god. This is the easiest trainer skip.
Yep, you literally run into that Pokeball, it despawns you, well, despawns your ride poke, just hug the fence, and you're fine. Which is hilarious, because that girl is looking directly at that fence and can't see. Prime example of their vision's really bad.
I tried to throw fast, it didn't take it. I'm really lucky there.
The other fun part, which we haven't really seen yet, is what are normally known as spinners.
Yeah, they don't exist in this game. They're just rotators.
Yep, they just rotate, and their vision is completely turned off when they rotate. Completely turned off until they're fully set.
No, I guess they are spinners, technically. I'm thinking it's Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield doesn't have spinners. They just have rotators.
Yeah.
All right, this is actually a great spot to deposit, because by depositing, I'm going to upgrade my ride Pokemon.
Which Rapidash is far faster moving than Rhyhorn.
It's the fastest ride Pokemon in the game.
It is. Tied with Persian. And Aerodactyl. Wait, we're not going to use Eevee anymore?
Oh, no, wait, I deposited Eevee, but where'd it go? Eevee's gonna just hang out on our head.
Yep.
Just for the rest of the game. Eevee's always with us. But yeah, we are finished using Eevee. So we're kind of through the first 2/3 of the game. This section, you do have to be really careful about hitting trainers because we don't have a main, we haven't caught our next main Pokemon yet.
I'm curious, chat. For those who don't know, who do you think our main will be through the back half of the run?
I want to answer this so bad, but I know it'll be. I'm actually gonna not catch the Pidgeotto because there's a Psyduck right here. If I didn't see the Psyduck, I actually probably would have caught that Pidgeotto.
Pikachu Kappa. Kira, Psyduck, Nidoking. No, none of those is right. Although we will evolve Psyduck, and it just won't be used.
So the key here, the reason why we're switching is that in that last Jesse and James fight, their Pokemon I think were 30, 33 or so.
Correct.
And the next trainer we fight is going to have a 43. So there's a almost 10 to 15 level jump in our next required trainer, and our Eevee is still just level 31. And we would just all of a sudden be almost 15 levels behind because the level curving in this game is a little jank.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I'm gonna desummon the second controller because that's burned me twice now.
Nope. So instead, what we're going to do is we are going to catch a Staryu. And then evolve it into Starmie and main Starmie.
I'll wait for like one more thing to spawn. Okay. Okay. Alright, I guess this is how we're playing the game. I'm wincing because that was so weird. What just happened, but I didn't get one of my common expected spawns on that route.
That being Doduo.
Yeah, no Doduo this run. Dude, Razor, I'm gonna show you my catch tracker, and you're gonna be like, what is wrong with you? You're gonna be so confused at this catch route. At the moment, no Pidgey, no Jigglypuff, no Vulpix, no Doduo. And I'm still easily on my way to 50. And none of the traditional starters, like no Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle. You're gonna be so confused at this catch route. This is so whack. We're getting the best secret technique.
Yeah, this is classic.
I love that previous cutscene too. And that actually isn't like a skippable cutscene because it's not like a rendered cutscene. Oh, and that wasn't a gold split? Okay, game, whatever. I always thought that was gonna, like, what? I'm so confused.
So now we're gonna surf. Quite literally, actually.
Quite literally. I'm sorry if I'm a bit baffled with myself, but it's very weird. If I see a Pidgey, I will catch it here.
This catch count's been kind of weird.
All right, I'm gonna catch a Pidgey and go for Pidgeotto.
Thankfully, Pidgey's
and I
really
did opt
common.
to just catch it one controller because it's faster.
Yeah, it's also super common. It's a single level, so.
All right, so this solidifies the rest of my catch route. I'm not gonna catch Tentacool. I am gonna catch Coughing. Though Coughing's a little funky because again, I'm out of I'm not raspberries, the data berries. And I don't need to fully evolve this into Pidgeot. This is just a Pidgeotto spawn, or a Pidgeotto evolution. Staryu, that's pretty average.
So when it comes to the Starmie, there's two main stats that one really main stat that we want to be high. And we want the speed to be good. And we want the special attack to be really high.
No, we just need that to be good. I don't even need that high.
As long as we hit the 140 for...
Yeah. Oh, no, you don't even need 140 for speed.
No, 140 for the special attack.
For,
you want the 140 for
Dragonite.
Lance.
By the way, I did see a Wiggly-Woo, so that was pretty fun. I think I could do my full menu right here, because that Staryu should be in my party. Alright, let's see. Oh, that's very fast. Oh my god. That's actually pretty good. Happy with that Staryu.
That's wicked fast, and yeah, that's solid. We take those.
Yeah, so this one's okay. Another mechanic that they took from Pokemon Go was the CP, the combat points. It's just a arbitrary number that like does some multiplications with your stats. And for Staryu, the average CP when caught, I think it's 1062, and this was 1052, so it was a little below average, but my speed is excellent. So I'm probably lacking in another stat somewhere, but it's hard to tell because I don't screenshot my stats, and quite frankly, it doesn't matter.
Realistically, there's only two stats we really pay a lot of attention to.
And my
that being the speed and the special attack.
Yeah, I'm at 119 special attack right now, which is actually totally fine. And
yeah, 119 is fine. 124 speed is really good.
I don't know it. So speed is kind of a weird thing because speed is just like, you just have to hit thresholds.
Yep.
So having like okay, good, and great speed is effectively the same, but having incredible speed can matter. And you almost never have incredibly high speed.
Nice 1% Starmie.
Starmie, yeah. I do need a coughing.
But you don't want to catch the Magmar.
And when I say need, I do mean need. Because I put myself into this is the last catch of the game.
Yeah.
And I cannot Nano Berry this. Oh. It attacked. What? I've never seen the coffee not move left to right ever. It's a miracle.
That is like the best cycle you can actually get there.
That
thing loves to move left and right for a while.
I'm beside myself. That was amazing. Psyduck, Pidgey, and I still have this random Haunter in my party. That's okay because as soon as I get Pidgeotto, I'm gonna dump the Haunter as well. Because I am gaining some weird extra levels, but rather to do an extra deposit than to cancel an extra evolution. So this is precisely why... Oh my god, Renegade, please. This is precisely why we wanted to pick up Starmie, or Staryu specifically, because the movesets of a Wild Staryu and a Wild Starmie are different. Staryu comes with Psychic. Starmie, the Pokemon that is a Psychic type, does not have Psychic on its moveset. So that's why we specifically need the Staryu. And then this fight, which is Ted, he's got a level 45. So we've jumped like by, what'd I say? It was like 20, no, 15 levels, like immediately. So Eevee just cannot handle this Electrode, and this is also one of those dangerous fights because, of course, the first thing we see is super effective against us and outspeeds us.
Traditionally, this is actually where we use the Doduo because it baits it into that slot because it always kills.
Yeah, but I haven't even done that safe strat in like forever. Alright. And we're golden. I'm done with catching. I have 45 Pokemon caught. And I have 3 evolutions and 2 gift Pokemon to go.
This is definitely going to be one of the weirdest trackers I've seen.
Well, I did end up getting the Pidgey, so it made it a little less weird.
That would have been really bizarre.
Actually wanted to be very careful with that Rattata. In my last practice run, a Rattata spawned like right there, and I just walked in front of that trainer to dodge it. And I was like, oh, whoops.
What, you don't want to be like Kerbis and have the really close one where you're like, how did I dodge that? Hello?
We're out of here. We're out of here. We're out of here. And now we're schmoving.
And the fun thing is, like, we have Scald, Psychic, and Hydro Pump on this Starmie as of right now.
Which is pretty good
coverage. Our final moveset is going to add Thunderbolt.
Which, Thunderbolt in Gen 1 and Gen 2 is unreasonably good. As somebody that's done a lot of Crystal randomizers, Thunderbolt's just the best move in that game.
It's so good.
Because all these there are so many water types, and most of them are very bulky, so to have access to Thunderbolts specifically covers so much, and the fact that Starmie learns it is just a massive bonus for this Starmie.
Oh yeah.
Scald is just, hey, we get to utilize our water stab, and Psychic is also extremely powerful.
It's like
and that moveset covers basically every single Pokemon in the game except for one. There will be a Executor that we have to face, a Grass Psychic type that would resist Water, Psychic, and Electric, So either Dodrio or Rapidash would cover that with a flying or fire type move. I will now be forced to use the more risky strat, in that I'll have to hit a Fire Blast instead of just a guaranteed Drill Peck. But yeah, so what's really cool is that this is our 3rd gym badge. In that whole time, we've not done gym battles. If you think about that, which is kind of funny. Like, we just haven't been doing any of our gym battles. So Blaine, who is traditionally the 7th gym leader, we're fighting 3rd. And we're really exploiting the open worldness of the Kanto region now. Especially since we get access to what are traditionally the HMs, but now the secret techniques. They are not locked behind having a certain badge. So we have access to Surf without fighting Koga. We have access to Strength and Cuts. And Flash even if you needed it, but we don't need it.
No.
So we have access to that, so that makes the Kanto region very much open world. So we are exploiting that, in that Blaine, who is supposed to be like one of the more difficult ones, well, we have the super effective type against him in a water type. And then the 2 gym leaders that would theoretically be super effective against us, electric type and grass type, we are massively over leveled against them now. So we are just straight up using that to our advantage. There is no situation where Starmie is not the best Pokemon for the end game. And that is just absolute, no one's even close. Like, Haunter and Aerodactyl can, like, they have something to hold, but Starmie is just...
Yeah, mostly because Haunter has a
ahead.
higher special attack and is already pretty fast.
Yeah,
and Haunter
Starmie ends up
runs
just being...
Psychic, Shadow Ball, Sucker Punch, and Thunderbolt. Yes, Haunter also gets Thunderbolt.
Yeah, and that's why it makes it so good. It's like Thunderbolt itself is just a very good move, especially for this generation. This generation, as in like Gen 1, where only Gen 1 Pokemon exist in this game. It's just very good.
It's so strong. Psychic in Gen 1 was hands down the strongest type in the game. It was insanely good.
I think I'm going to have to do a slight backup strat.
Because there's no dark types in Gen 1.
When I say slight backup strat, I'm going to delay teaching Thunderbolt until after Archer, because my potion count got burned so badly on that second J&J fight.
That is very fair.
That I'm actually opting to keep the move Recover for that fight specifically. It adds a menu, but you can't get hit with Sucker Punch if you use Recover, because it's not an attacking move.
That's actually
it's a very
pretty
good beginner.
Smart.
Very good beginner strat. It's just delay teaching Thunderbolt until after Archer.
I've never thought of doing that.
So you keep Recover.
I've never thought of doing that. That's
and it's
genius.
nice because Recover's in that slot 4.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't want to really... I have one Hyper Potion. I just have to use it now before that fight. So I'll have no healing items before Archer. So yeah,
So
I basically have to keep Recover.
So anybody who's done Gen 1 knows this puzzle.
I got it first try! Woo!
First try, let's go.
First try, let's go!
Fun fact, they're always in the exact same spot.
God
On this one, they always are.
But yeah, now we're fighting Surge. But we're level, what, 46?
Yeah.
And Surge is level 25, so goodbye. Yeah,
wait, we're weak to you, though. Oh, wait, we're out leveling you by 20.
We'll do the same to Erica, except we will have to use the super effective Psychic move. And that's the weird thing is, Erica's also just part poison type, so... Grass beats water, but Psychic beats poison, so... And that's because Gen 1 was weird. Gen 1 combined every single grass type with poison type for no reason.
By and large, most grass types across Pokemon, vast majority of them are all poison.
I think grass and poison is like one of the most common dual typings in, like, still to this day. I have to double check. to be like super confirmed, but I know it's one of the most
Probably.
common.
Grass, the most common typing to have paired with grass is easily poison. They're almost all poison. There's a couple exceptions. Like you have grass water with the Ludicolo line. You've got a couple grass flyings. There's like 1 or 2 grass bugs. But like most of them are all poison, which means Psychic's just gonna kill you. It's like Starmie's like, I'm faster than you, I don't care, goodbye. Starmie's got a really high base special attack and a really good base speed.
What you need for a Pokemon speedrun. High attack, high speed. Oh, here's our cute Pokemon requirements. We'll show them Starmie. Oh, it's super cute. Let me pet it. Uh-huh. Oh, it smells good, too. And we're in. And we're in the gym.
Yep. We're in a grass gym. So show me a cute Pokemon. Ooh, you showed me a fire type? We don't like fire types here.
In AOP, I always show them Dodrio because that's the Pokemon we use against them. It's very funny. Oh, wow, a bird!
When in Gen 1, they're like, we don't like fire types. Keep those out of here.
Only you can prevent indoor forest fires.
I still think showing a Dodrio is great, just because, you know, May would
Pet
agree.
all the heads.
Well, May would agree because Burb.
Bird. What about Starmie, honorary Burb?
Magneton, it's a Burb.
It's a Burb. Easily. Easily. The Burb is the word. Correct.
Yeah, our really good friend May loves birds.
Burb.
So. Ooh, look, Wiggly Woo.
Wiggly Woo.
It's Keys. Bye, Keys.
Oh. What the heck? Sorry if the audio just sounds scratchy for a second there. Hold on. Razor, could you just check the feed just to if my audio just went wonky? Because it's really bad in my headphones. It might just be me.
Sounds fine to me.
Oh, shoot. I was mashing A and B. That's actually kind of bad. I don't think I get enough experience to evolve. Might just be my own headphones that freaked out. Because my audio is super yeah, my audio is super distorted.
I think you're okay. You still have the entirety of Soap?
It is. It's definitely my headphones. And I'm gonna be honest, Razor, I don't think I'm okay. I don't think I get another level here. Sorry, I'm gonna have to... Oh, nice Abra. This is really... I'm sorry, this is like super distracting for me. The audio is really bad in my own headphones. It looks clean on OBS and probably on the feed.
You could have actually caught the
I can't even hear you, Razor. You are just completely garbled. You're the is what it sounds like. So I might have to restart my something. Sorry, I have to text something on my end while I'm speedrunning. This is super cool. I love doing this.
So Lash, we use all of the rare candies on Starmie.
I can only pick up one more. Because the one by the Lapras.
Yep.
So I'm gonna be honest, I might have to Master Ball something. Because there's not that much experience left.
You did pass a Vulpix and a Puff on the way back in.
I'm gonna be honest, Razor, I can't hear you at all. I literally just cannot hear you at all. Oh, I reset something, it's even worse now. Okay, Razor, can you hear me? Can I hear you?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, that's so much better. Okay.
Yeah. So you passed a Puff and the Vulpix on the way into Saffron.
Right. Ah, should have done that.
That would have been ideal.
Well, we might still be catching them.
We'll see. Hopefully we get the...
That was just really weird to have. Okay, so chat. Here's what happened. The program I used to basically split the audio into my headphones basically crashed, and the game and Razor and everything was just is what it sounded like in my headphones. Because I was trying to deal with that, I was just mashing A and B, and I canceled an evolution. It was really important, and because I was still teching it, I didn't even think to look on Route 7 for a Pokemon to catch.
Yay,
So that was just
audio.
really inconvenient for tech to actually just mess up my brain. I only have 1.5 brain cells worth of power to use, and they were both being occupied. Razor, please explain this fight. This is Archer. The worst fight in the game, but not because it's the most dangerous fight in the game.
This fight's kind of a pain. So...
Oh, no! Oh, I got the worst possible version.
That's gross. That's gross.
This is... Oh my god, this is so bad because I don't have potions. I think I'm just dead.
You need Boom?
I absolutely need Boom here. This is actually insanely bad. Okay.
What was that about? You never die here? There's the Boom. There's the Boom.
Now I need to hit through paralysis. Okay. And by hit through, I mean recover through. Okay, the Raticate's off the screen.
Which is good. Yeah, so everything in this fight, with the exception of Mutt, has a super effective move on Starmie. All of them.
I
so
still need a
Golbat has
paralyzed
Crunch.
heal. And that's
And
why...
the
Nope.
Weezing will have Dark Bolts.
Okay, we're fine from here. Oh, this was so bad. That actually was the most dangerous situation, was to get a turn 1 Thunderbolt with paralysis, and I was out of potions. So not only was all of that just bad, but I needed to hit, like, use recover through paralysis on a single turn. Before I... And by the way, if I got hit with Thunderbolt again, I was just straight up dead.
Yeah. Yep. And
1, 2,
the sad part
3,
is,
4,
yeah,
no,
you have
still
a
5-turn
trainer
fight.
with you. Like, you have your rival with you. Except for your rival does nothing. He never helps.
Dude, I'm just... That fight went in a way that I can't even fathom that it usually does. That was so weird.
So bad.
I've never been in that situation. To have literally no potions and get turn 1 Thunderbolt paralysis.
At least the Muck didn't protect. That would have been worse.
No, that was fine by then. I just needed to heal and get a paralyzed heal off in order to put myself back in shape.
True. True. Yeah, so that muck basically just loves to toxic protect. And then minimize.
That much? No, you're talking about Hayden.
Huh? No, that muck has minimize.
Oh, well. Does it?
Yes, it does.
I don't think I've
Because
ever
that's the
seen
last
minimize
thing
on
we
that
keep
muck.
alive when we're using Haunter.
Alright, well I never see that on that fight.
Nope. That's the last thing we keep alive
It's-
because it can't touch Haunter, but
The
yay, you get a hit through like all the freaking minimizes.
The electrode's the problem for the Starmie for obvious reasons, as you saw. The worst possible
Yeah.
scenarios. Alright,
That fight can be a pain. You don't usually die. Usually. Because
That
you
was-
can usually,
that was
like, you
easily,
usually have heal
like-
items. Just heal
that
and
was
you're fine.
that was easily the most at risk of dying I've ever been in that fight.
You just don't want to get paralyzed by T-Bolt. Ideally, you don't get Protect turn 1, and you get
don't even get
Self-Destruct turn 1.
T-Bolt turn 1. Usually the Electro just booms turn 1.
Oh, Boom turn 1 is great. You want Boom, no Protect.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's
We'll
fine.
see if I can still...
Koga will just go Boom turn 1.
I actually have to heal that poisoning. Because otherwise Rapidash will still be poisoned going into, get this, Rival 5. If I don't heal that off. Very weird. Be glad I didn't need Pidgeot, because there's no way I'm getting Pidgeot.
Nope.
But I don't even think I get Pidgeotto. Because I have caught that Pidgey before on that route, and it's just so difficult to get enough EXP for 2 levels. So that's why I don't think I have enough for even 1.
It'll be very close.
But close isn't good enough. Because there's...
No, it's not.
I need the 50 Pokemon after Sabrina, no questions asked. So if I don't have enough experience, I need to catch another Pokemon. Which is, so this is really wild.
Just go to Route 15 and catch a Venonat.
Yeah, so after this fight, we do get a Master Ball, but we never use it in the run because we usually are squared away with our 50 Pokemon. Razor, this past week, I've had to use the Master Ball twice in practice runs.
What?
Twice. And one of them, I had 48 Pokemon, so I actually had to use a Master Ball and get the Copycat Girl's Moonstone to get an extra Moonstone evolution.
Actually, you could do that because you didn't evolve the Clefairy.
It's actually slower to get the Moonstone, dig into my box to get the Pokemon, and then Moonstone it, than it is to just go to a route and catch something.
That's fair. Assuming something spawns, it's good. So, like, Route 15, you've got Tauros, Pinsir, Venomoth.
Oh, Razor, you're just gonna confuse me if you're gonna talk about AOP stuff.
I mean, there are options, they're there.
No, I think Route 7's gonna be better because Vulpix
Probably.
and Jigglypuff are far more likely to spawn than just Venonat. And it is closer as
What
well.
do you mean? You'd get instant Pinsir.
No. I've had enough memes in
You'd
this
go on
run.
a 15, you get instant Pinsir, Tauros, and Venonat.
Why is this game bullying me so much? If I
That
didn't
would
have a
be hope.
single tech issue, I wouldn't have canceled the evolution and I would have had a good run.
It's a marathon, it's fine.
There's something about my marathon luck that has been a little extra.
Alright, time for our last 2 free pokes. Larpus and Porygon.
Yeah, and the key with this rare candy Razor, you mentioned it, like, we pick up that rare candy because we get Lapras, But if we didn't need Lapras, we actually wouldn't get that rare candy. It's faster to get the rare candy in Mansion.
It is.
So we didn't need, if I didn't, and there's been another one of those like weird situations where like I found myself ahead on pokes, so I picked up the Mansion candy and skipped that floor entirely. Because the Mansion candy is faster, but we bank on Lapras because Lapras is just a faster Pokemon.
I've never not gotten Lapras.
It was also a marathon run.
With the exception of I have not gotten Porygon on an AOP run because I'm a genius.
This Porygon is the second fastest Pokemon in the game. It's just behind the Magikarp. It's only slightly slower because it's a little more out of the way. As in, we have to take the long way around Saffron. I am going to focus on this shop. This is our last shop of the run.
For a Pokemon game, there's not a lot of shop menus.
That's our last shop. We're just stock up on all the X items we need. And I guess you guys can pray that Pidgey gets enough experience. I'm not entirely convinced it will evolve on just Sabrina here. Because
what do you mean? You're gonna hit an optional in here? Actually, don't.
And don't, and that's still not enough experience because battle experience pales far in comparison to catch experience in this game. Most of our experience comes from catching, as you saw, from the literal 4,800 experience I got from a single Graveler versus like a couple hundred from a gym leader. Oh, my teleporters have been awful today. Oh my god. That was a good teleporter. If you look closely, sometimes you can just step directly on the teleporter, and then sometimes you'll like stutter, shuffle your feet, and then walk onto it. And I'm trying to get these as precise as possible. As soon as I complained about it, it got better.
If you walk directly onto it, you'll literally walk right onto it. If you hit it at an angle, it'll kind of stutter a little bit, and it loses a little bit of time.
That was good after I complained. Alright, as we go to Sabrina, Sabrina has just a little bit of flexibility in her fight. It just depends on what turn you get Light Screen. Light Screen turn 1 is by far the most common. Light Screen turn 2 is you have to stall turn. If you don't get Light Screen, it is the fastest version of the fight, pending that you don't just get attacked all the time.
And that's just very, very rare. She almost always goes Light Screen turn 1.
And I did get Light Screen turn 1.
Which Light Screen will boost the special defense, essentially. Well, it minimizes the power of special attack moves. Going into the poke on that side of the field. And there's a reflect, that's normal.
Alright, this is a clean fight.
Yep, so you go.
I needed one of these.
Speed and go.
And that's why we two-shot that Mr. Mime, because it just the Light Screen wears out going into Alakazam.
And then everything else just dies.
Golduck gets an extra level.
131. I don't think you're gonna manage to outspeed the Raichu.
No, I'm not that fast.
That would be insane.
It's fast, it's not that fast. Alright, last chance to get Pidgeotto, otherwise I did mess up. Because there's no more experience now. Yeah, I did not get it.
Sad.
That's awful. So yeah, that mistake costed me a poke. I'm still at 49. Yeah, that's kind of lame. And you know what's going to be more lame? I'm going to get a catch, and the Pidgey is going to evolve.
Yep.
That's literally how close I am on EXP, is just the Pidgeys is going to evolve.
Yep.
Man, that's so lame.
Every time.
Alright, I'm just going to run over to the route, because this is faster than flying. Alright, a little detour, because I'm a Pokemon short. Dude, my runs have been just awful recently.
Game Sonya, you need to go back to AOP.
Oh, no. Those runs were not much better. Alright, well, I guess Jigglypuff's the answer. Please don't make me cancel the evolution again, because that would be really lame.
All obtainable Pokemon. Where you literally have to catch every Pokemon available.
Oh my god, you see? Look at how close Pidgey was. I'm actually good. I'm actually glad I didn't even get a nice throw. Otherwise, I would have had to cancel yet another evolution.
Oh,
all right,
that's
sorry.
so
I'm gonna focus here for a second, because this menu is near impossible to optimize correctly, and I already messed it up. Man. This is a very complicated menu because I'm still not done. 128's kind of... As you saw, I made like an extra input and it forced me to do something slow.
Yep.
128.
Honestly, Lash, it's not that bad. The really down, like the only problem pokes really are like 1% encounters for the most part, but it's a fun run.
Yeah, AOP stands for All Obtainable Pokemon. It's a single player catch 'em all. You catch all 135 Pokemon available in the game, and it's the same for Eevee and Pikachu. Their exclusives balance each other out.
The exclusives, and then there's no trade pokes, so like you skip all the trade evolutions.
And the three Pokemon that are the most difficult are Kangaskhan, Dratini, and then either Pinsir or Scyther, depending on what version you have.
I'd argue Dratini is the worst.
Which is funny because Dratini is a 4% and the others are 1%, but the area that it spawns in is a notoriously like low spawning area. It's just this thin area of the water. And it's just like so hard to get things to spawn, even lured.
Yep. And there's only 3 to 4 Pokemon that will ever spawn on that route at a time.
It can be 5. Did you know that? 5 things can spawn in the water, but you almost never see 5.
Yeah, no, you don't. So I just wait till 3 or 4, and then I just repel and immediately lure back up.
How about we talk about Caden? Because this is honestly one of the more dangerous fights.
This is the true gym leader because it has minimize and it has protect.
And I got minimize, and I got protect. So we are already using a lot of psychics, and I missed, and I got hit with toxic, so we are already in very bad shape.
This is why this is the true gym leader.
All right, I'm gonna go for one more
everything in this
psychic here.
gym.
And if I miss again, I'm gonna summon second controller. Because thankfully,
hey, at least you didn't get the special attack drop. That would have been bad.
Rapidash has the move called Stomp. Stomp doubles in power and automatically hits through minimize. And of course, I hit protect, hit in that exact. So because I actually so I used 5 psychics on that, or 4. So I'm already running a little thin on my psychic count. So because of that, I'm gonna have to go for some scalds on Koga.
Which 128 special attack you're
It's
fine
not too
on.
bad. The Venomoth is guaranteed, but the Weezing is 14 and 16.
That's not bad.
And that's what I have to risk now in order to save my psychic count.
14 and 16 sounds
And
bad.
if I don't get it, we'll be taking another unscheduled pit stop to the Pokemon Center. So yeah, Kaden is actually more dangerous than Koga because of Minimize specifically. And I missed twice, and those were 67% to hit, and I missed them both.
It's such a pain.
So I ended
There's
up...
a reason we say that's the true gym leader.
And it's like, if you just keep missing, you just keep losing so much time so quickly. You lose turns, you lose resources, and you could just die. But Koga doesn't have that problem because we don't have Minimize on the front Pokemon when we have to do a turn to set up.
You can still die here.
I can die because I took a
obscenely
Moon
unlucky
Blast,
like I did.
and I got Explosion. So, cross your fingers. Okay. We are in Red Bar. This is technically the fastest version of the fight. And I don't have to go for the range now, because that was the range I was going to go for the Weezing.
Yeah, see, boom, like Explosion, crit.
Not only is Explosion technically the fastest version of the fight, but now that we are in red HP, Koga wants to KO us. So we are, well, and of course I said something, he's less likely to go for Protects now. But then I did just get a Protect on Dinglebat.
Yeah, everything in here has Protect, so, like, literally, you will just lose time in this gym just because Protect, and you can't do anything about it.
So I ended up getting a standard 5-turn on Koga, but if the Golbat didn't Protect, I would have had the 4-turn Koga, which is crazy, but Kaden was bad, so it got offset.
Yep. Caden's the real gym leader there.
Alright, we're through Kaden. And the fights, we'll start to get a couple more risky fights now that we're getting into the end game. The next one's going to be Giovanni himself, and that is the first fight I will properly save for.
Yeah, mostly because if Giovanni decides to crit with Earthquake, you're just dead.
You're just dead. In AOP, you can recover because you'll have a full party of Pokemon, and I pick up a Max Revive as my backup. But in this case, it actually doesn't work, because even with Rapidash as our second Pokemon, we can't revive and recover fast enough, because the Rapidash will die the next turn. Because Earthquake is pretty strong last I checked.
Yep.
Yo, dude, this...
Unless you have Dodrio in your party, and then you can just 2-controller with Dodrio, and then you're fine, because it'll go for Sucker, like, Slash on... Like, Sucker Punch or Slash on the Dodrio. It will
Razor,
never EQ.
Why did I not Master Ball the Jigglypuff?
I don't know.
Razor, why did I not Master Ball the Jigglypuff? I had a Master Ball in my inventory. I could have just Master Ball the Jigglypuff. Why did I waste 4 seconds summoning a second controller and desummoning it? Because I'm bad at this game! You know what's really funny, though, is that because I caught the Jigglypuff, my catch route doesn't look as bad anymore. It looks like I just caught early Pidgey and then just got Jigglypuff like normal. So if I had the intended catch route, it'd look a lot more funky. What really changed this is that I got double Moonstone, I got Krabby and Abra. Those 4 Pokemon, those extra 4, allowed me to skip a lot of things. Basically, I skipped Doduo Dodrio, Vulpix, and Jigglypuff. And I only needed, technically, Pidgeotto and not Pidgeot. Then everything else is just kind of normal. So we do use repels now because it is just a little bit easier to manage a few of our high spawn areas with a repel up. And this will stay up through Victory Road.
And it's actually faster to ride back up here than fly back up.
Oh yeah, short route 1. Easy.
So this is the first part where you have to face this trainer from behind. If you do not, you will have to face multiple, multiple different trainers to get out.
I think it's 2. No, I think it's 2.
It is 2. It is 2.
Because you were forced to take the long way around the gym, and there are 2 trainers in the path. But by stopping him here, we're able to access the platforms to kind of move through the center of the gym instead of the outside. Because otherwise you're intended to like do this loop around.
I've made that mistake before, and
so see the blue arrows? We want to access the blue arrows, and by doing it this way, we kind of guarantee that he's not going to walk up to us and block us. This fight, I'm just gonna do all my marathon safety stuff. This fight, you can go for a hydro pump.
safer
I'm just gonna do a 2-controller fight.
You can Oko it with a hydro pump, but that's like 80% accurate.
I even forget what the accuracy is. Is it 80 or is it 85?
I think it's... What is it? I think it's 80.
Somebody in
It
chat.
is 80.
Somebody in chat's smarter than us. All right, so
It is
watch
80.
watch me talk to this upcoming trainer. Look at how directly in front of them I was. I was in front of them, but they never had the explanation point come up. They never saw me. I walked straight in front of them and I got them. And that's I'm just abusing how laser thin basically your character's hitbox and how laser thin their vision is. And that is going to be the example to keep in mind when I skip a trainer by what looks like I'm clearly walking in front of them, but I'll be very narrowly avoiding their vision. All right, so
It's a far easier skip.
I wouldn't say it's easy. It's the second most difficult of the 4.
Oh no, it definitely is, but it's easier than the Route 6 skip.
Yeah. But it's a high pressure skip because it happens at the end of the run. So if you're on pace, you're usually like sweating, a little jittery, and then you have to make some very precise movement. But that's not this fight. This fight is Giovanni. I did save for this fight. This is like one of 4 extremely dangerous fights here. The Doug Trio will always outspeed you, and it has Earthquake. If it crits us, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble here.
Yep. So you X-defend.
My defense is actually pretty good. So this, I just have to survive 1 more turn. And I did. Excellent. Looks like I could have survived a crit from full on my defense.
Potentially.
But you're basically risking turn 2 and turn 3 crits.
But you also have to set up an X special attack anyway.
Yeah.
And then you just sweep.
We don't set up the X speed. We don't set up X speed because it's not necessary. It's the only thing that outspeeds us. So we technically lose a half a turn, but using an X speed loses a full turn. My defense actually isn't super high. It's pretty mid.
133 here. You should be fine.
You say, yeah. I'm not even worried about special attack anymore. I'm only looking at defense now. Because defense is going to matter a little bit more to making sure that I don't die to things.
Yep.
I think it was 98 defense, 99 special defense. I missed the special defense one.
I did too. We'll catch it on the 51. Most critical of those would be the special defense when we get into champ.
Yeah. But that's why I'm trying to get a gauge of where they are.
Yep.
Now.
So as long as you are over 27 HP here, you do not even have to heal.
Nope.
Even though...
Unless you have really bad speed. I was outsped by Pidgeot once.
That's
fun story.
bizarre.
Yep. It was at my very last run, and I took an air slash, and I lived on 1.
What speed does that Pidgeot even have?
127.
How are you below 120? Like, that's like 0 IVs.
Yeah, I know. Or as the
That's
game
so
will
bad.
call it, not so good.
That's so bad.
The judging feature will literally call a 0 IV stat line not so good. Yeah, I was a little surprised. I'm like, oh, why is it attacking first? I'm in danger.
I've never seen that. What? Yeah, so you'll outspeed here. Quick attack does less than 27.
It'll be 20. It's 24 for me.
So, like, if you're over 27, you don't even have to worry about it, even though he has a Raichu. You set up an X speed.
Razor,
So
why
we
do we
set up-
use an X speed on this turn and not on the Raichu turn?
Because, oddly enough, it takes another full turn for the X speed to actually take effect. It won't
Yeah.
take effect right now.
Yep, speed changes don't take effect until the next turn.
Which is annoying. Everything else takes effect immediately.
So another good example of this is if you are paralyzed and you heal the paralysis on that turn, you are still under the speed effects of paralysis. So you still have the 1/4 speed until the next turn.
Yep.
Oh, no,
So, because we don't know what's going to come out third, it's more than likely going to be Raichu. We set up X speed on the second turn, so that when Raichu comes out, we automatically outspeed it.
Yeah, we get the effect.
And then we set up our second X special attack and kill. In fact, we don't even have to do that. You can literally just scald the Marowak or psychic the... Oh yeah, scald the Marowak and you're fine.
Then we go through prestigious Victory Road. This is another good time to mention, Razor, the category of this run, not specifically the yes cutscenes, but the no to mount skips.
Yep.
So
Courtesy...
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, courtesy of Etchy.
Oh, there's plenty of people that worked on this.
There's a lot of people who figured out that we knew we could skip Dawson, but that was like jank as heck. But no, you can actually skip a lot of the trainers in Victory Road.
And
just by
anywhere
mounts.
in the overworld where you have access to a fast ride Pokemon. So the key here is that after some data digging, we found out specifically how laser thin trainer vision is. And a Pokemon like Rapidash and Aerodactyl specifically move fast enough that every frame that they move, they could potentially move past trainer vision outright. So basically from frame to frame, they might be skipping over a trainer vision. This was discovered first by Cruel, who did it accidentally in a marathon run, just walked through a trainer without engaging them in battle. And the community was like, I didn't know you could do that. Because typically you would go up to a trainer like Naomi here and just talk to them because it's faster. But again, he did it accidentally and just walked through. And then through some brute force trying, we discovered that this works for every trainer in Victory Road. And with the help of Anubis and Sandy Beach, they went through to really figure out setups for it to get on the exact sub-pixel. This is not a pixel perfect trick. This is a sub-pixel perfect trick. So now setups have been discovered to be able to skip the 4 what were the 4 required trainers in Victory Road using a mount. The setup uses Aerodactyl, not Rapidash. So those are considered the mount skips. Now, this category will not be doing them because I can't do them. It's not that I haven't learned how to do it, it's just that using the normal Joy-Cons, it's actually impossible because the Joy-Cons have true 360-degree, like, rotation. I actually messed up. I was supposed to heal. They have, like, true 360-degree rotation. So you can move in, like, any direction. But if you use a third-party Joy-Con, you get this digital snapping to a cardinal direction, like 16. You only have, like, 16 directions you can move, like straight north, northwest, northeast, and then the sub-cardinal directions. Because of that consistency in exactly being able to go north-south in east and west, you are able to maintain your sub-pixel positioning so precisely that these setups allow you to consistently skip past these trainers. But again, it takes a third-party Joy-Con to be able to do it, and I'm just using the regular Switch ones. So even if you're, like, moving not exactly, like, 360 degrees north, if you were moving 359 degrees north, that's not good enough.
Speaking of, Sandy Beach.
Yeah, Sandy's great, big supporter of a lot of the Let's Go runners, including Etchy and Etiquette and myself, and did a lot of work in figuring out how to get these mount skips set up. But so the old any percent category is now any percent no mount skips, and then the mount skips is a separate category. It's like a subcategory because the catching route does change. Like, you go out of your way to get Aerodactyl in the run that does the mount skips, so it does affect, you know, what else you may or may not have to catch in the run.
Yep.
Which, for me personally, makes sense to make them different categories, because before it was kind of just run through trainer vision and get lucky, but it didn't really change the route at first. But now that we have that consistent setup, it does change the route minorly. But this next trainer that you're gonna see is an unmounted skip, and that's been known for a long time. That we can just squeeze by their trainer vision, but we have to specifically do it not on Rapidash. So this is an unmounted skip.
Means you're skipping the best poke, though.
I'm gonna focus here so I don't mess this up.
Yeah, this trainer here has 3 different Pokemon, and you have to set up the next special attack, so it loses like a minute and a half.
Like that.
Yeah, so you literally run into the corner there.
Still haven't missed it in a marathon.
Yup.
I don't want to be like the first one to miss it in a marathon and be like, I just explained that you can skip this trainer, and then you didn't skip the trainer.
I would totally do that.
And that's the thing. It's not the most difficult skip, but it's the highest pressure skip. And again, late in the run, we're like almost 3 hours in, and then it's just like, ooh, don't hit this trainer, otherwise your run's over. It's like, ooh. Alright, let's go level up. 199. So, yeah, my defenses are a little, but they're not, like, minimum.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
But you're not high enough on special attacks, so you will have to go 3 expects on Lorelei.
Oh, I forgot to check what my special attack was. Did you see it?
It was like 136.
Oh yeah, that's a +6 for sure. 139 is the threshold, but that's still close. It means you have to hit a Scald range. Better than a Hydro Pump. But I actually missed the Skull range on 139 in a practice run this week. Again, my runs this week have been not great. I'm full skill issue gaming. But yeah, the Maniac that you see in the top right corner of the screen, he was the first one that we ever skipped using Rapidash, or any mounts for that matter. And there are plenty of, like, so we consider Rapidash like in the fast tier of ride Pokemon. Rapidash, Aerodactyl, like Dragonite, Charizard, Persian are all very fast, but they all have slightly different speeds, and as it turns out, like, Arcanine and Persian are just ever so slightly slower than Aerodactyl and Rapidash, and it's slow enough that it's actually impossible to do the mount skips on Persian and Arcanine. They're not fast enough to skip over Trainer's Vision, which Trainer Vision is 25 pixels wide, and I think Aerodactyl's speed is 26.2 pixels per frame, which is why it's a sub-pixel perfect trip, because there are sub-pixel positionings. But yeah, Persian and Arcanine are like just under 25 pixels per frame speed, so it doesn't quite work for them.
Yep.
And and Persian specifically was tested because for Pika version, getting early Persian was thought to be able to skip more than just these 4 trainers, because mount skipping works for any overworld trainer where you are allowed to be on a mount Pokemon, and that includes like Viridian Forest. If you had Rapidash for Viridian Forest, you could skip those trainers, and I'm sure there would be setups found.
Which would be ridiculous. You'd basically be skipping every normal trainer. We just have to catch a ton.
I just have to not do any more splits because they're all coming up gold because I'm splitting in wrong spots. Alright, we've made it now to the league.
Yep. Which now is when we say goodbye to Rapidash.
Yeah, I'm not doing any kind of random safe strat. I'm just going to save on the final 3 fights, because the first 2 fights are not dangerous.
Yeah.
But the final 3 are very much dangerous.
Oh no, Agatha's very bad.
Yep, we will just heal going into this, and we're off. That's right, we only need Starmie. Funny enough, you can access the Pokemon box in the Elite Four. That is allowed. It is used in the catch-em-all runs to continue to swap Pokemon in and out that do need the experience. So
Yep.
That is allowed, but we only need the Starmie. We're trying to get rid... At this point, we don't want anything else in our party because we're, A, eliminating a text box that says, oh, the other Pokemon in your party gained experience. So we're already eliminating a text box. We're eliminating extra level ups, animations, to make this as fast as possible. Lorelei, it does depend on what your special attack stat is. And the higher it is, the more likely you only need to use 2 of these X special attacks. I'm on the lower end, so I need to use 3. So it does take me an extra turn, but it makes it completely safe because the Lapras can be a Thunderbolt range, and the Jinx can be a Scald range, or you just have to outright hit a Hydro Pump. So no worse than 80%, but the threshold comes out about even on both of the Lapras and the Scald range. So there's a pretty clear split. At like 139, I usually split to just +4 instead of +6. But in this case, I just go +6, and everything is Gucci. And 70 is...
you don't even have to heal.
Is great, so I don't even have to heal. And, big bonus, not even at risk of getting crit, either.
Because even with a 0 IV defense, Earthquake from the Onyx does a max of 48.
Yeah. And I'm in a tier higher. Because I'm at, I said what, 99 or 100? I'm at 100 right now. So
100,
40,
yeah.
45. So even on a max crit, it's not going to do 70 damage.
No, it would do 69.
69. Unless it gets that extra +1. So maybe I should shut my mouth. Gen 1 crit incoming.
Gen 1 miss incoming?
So, okay, maybe a 1 in 24 and then a 1 in 16 high roll could kill me. And it didn't. Okay.
No, it can't. Yeah, that dealt 39, so like even on a crit, that wouldn't have like that would have done like 60, and that's it.
Keep an eye out here because when I'm, I got turnarounds on Bruno, bruh. That means I have high friendship on Starmie.
Mood.
So I lose 8 seconds to Bruno because I have to do 4 super effective turnaround hits. Usually you don't get your turnarounds till Agatha, because every like gym leader and Elite Four and like boss battle gives you like a chunk of friendship experience. I must have just been rolling good friendship on just the walking steps, because you typically are not at high friendship for Bruno, and then you are at Agatha, so I have it early.
Yeah, so you'll notice like every time he hits a super effective move here, Starmie will turn right back toward him, and it just wastes time.
Now, there is one potential benefit to having high friendship, and it is for Agatha specifically, because having high friendship gives you a chance to expel status effects, and that may come into play here.
I was gonna say, please don't talk to her without healing.
Hey, I'm just optimizing what before I say it. Oh yeah, if I go into this fight without healing, you just can't win. It is just that is just an automatic death.
You're just straight up dead.
You literally cannot win if you don't heal, even going into the fight, because you'll just be in a heal loop. So Agatha is tricky because we need to set up 1x special attack and 1x speed. But this Arbok is pretty dangerous. It likes to go for glare, but it can go for something like crunch.
I've seen it go poison jab.
I've seen poison jab in some situations. And there's the power of love. It saves me a full restore turn. And this was actually the safe turn to get it on. You would rather have power of love turn 2 and not turn 1 in this situation. Correct. Because A, it doesn't save any turns because we still need to set up the X speed, and you're just giving the Wheezing a chance to Thunderbolt paralyze you if you have to use the X speed on this turn.
And the reason you need the X speed is because she has not 1 but 2 Gengars
and they fast.
Outspeed.
And they fast. There is allegedly a insanely maximum speed threshold that you could hit, in which you don't need the X speed.
I've hit it.
I've never hit it in any percent.
I've actually hit it.
And I've been 1 point short in an AOP, and that was with using speed candies.
I didn't
you
use
getting
any
it
speed
once
candies.
is insane. I think it's maximum speed and like all AVs too. It's crazy.
I was level 54. I was in AOP. I didn't use any speed candies at all, and I hit it.
So you didn't hit it in any percent?
No, I would have. My Starmie was absolutely cracked. I was 31 IV in speed and special attack. Like, that thing was ridiculously good.
Alright.
So you use an elixir here because we've already used 5 special, like all of our special attack, like psychics. We need them for the next few fights.
Yep. Kind of nice though. We only have to use psychic 20 times through the Elite Four, and it comes with 10. So
yep,
works out just perfectly. Lance is pretty simple. His Dragonite can be a range if your special attack isn't particularly high. Mine is good enough. I should be hitting that threshold.
Should be.
But we start with an X special defense. Hyper Beam is the scariest move here.
Especially if it crits.
Oh, okay. It did crit, but I lived.
Yeah. Like that.
Just like that. All right.
That is why we worry about that thing, because it's kind of bad.
2. Here's Hyper Beam again. Okay, we're safe from here because I finished my setup and this is a charge turn.
Did you X speed?
Yep. Turn 2. The turn I got crit was my XP turn. Now, if your special attack is real bad, and when I say real bad, the Gyarados is a range.
We both missed that.
I was in an etiquette chat where he missed it, and then he rated and she was like, I missed the range on Gyarados, and he was like,
Yup. I've lost a run to that. But more often than not, I either lose it to the Hyper Beam crit or Dragonite not hitting the range, and then Outrage just kills.
My special attack's 141, so the Dragonite is guaranteed.
Is
guaranteed
just
at
straight up dead.
140. So just high enough on that special attack. Then I also took note of my defenses. I think they were both 104 or 104 or 105. I know defense is 104. I keep splitting. I need to just not split. Because everything is coming up gold splits, and I don't want to have jank splits when I run this game again. Or it's like, why can't I get gold split? It's because I had a marathon where everything was bad.
And now we are on the absolute worst fight in the entire run.
For you, but like usually it's Lance for everyone else. There is also one more cutscene to watch. So enjoy the final cutscene, the champion cutscene I almost didn't save.
And the champion music in this is an absolute bop, so.
So Trace's battle is actually just like Lance's, where I have to set up the X special defend and the X speed, but I only need +4 and not +6. And thank you for everybody that did donate during the run. We super appreciate that.
2K, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's awesome. We got a good chunk during this run, so thank you, everyone. So why is this battle so much more dangerous than the rest? Because Trace actually leads his best Pokemon, Mega Pidgeot. And because of that, it has such a damaging threat. It's not a high critical hit move, but most people find themselves getting it crit with Air Slash, which does do a lot of damage. You can do 45 to me. That was actually a pretty low roll. And I got crit. So, and that's why we had to showcase it at least once. Unlike the Hyper Beam from Lance's Seadra, the Air Slash does do a lot more damage. And that means we get to watch the cutscene again. Almost a perfect run.
Nearly.
I just canceled one evolution accidentally, and that ended up actually costing me. And then I finally got crit. On Champion, many a world record runs have been crit by Champion. And Lance and Agatha. Like, it's all one and the same.
I've had sub 306 pace runs die to champ crit.
My PB is a 304, and like your heart rate's just off the charts starting Agatha, because it can just you can just die at any moment. These final three fights are the most dangerous fights.
My PB is still a 314, but I grinded so hard, like I just kept losing runs time and time again when I'm on really, really good pace, and would slaughter that, but then just dies. I'm like, really? Really?
All right. Try number 2. Thankfully, we don't lose as much time as the previous run does on Satan. This will not take us an extra hour and a half to get through the fight. All right. So what's going to happen here is if I don't get crits, I will have to heal because that is quick attack range. So you wouldn't ever want to attack on, like, red bar.
No.
Quick attack can do, like, I think 28 to me.
Correct.
Because there's the quick attack. And I still have to risk one more getting crit turn. And we
Because
did
you
not,
have to set up.
and now we are through.
Yeah. So this fight here is scary because you have to set up an X special defend, an X speed, and 2 X special attacks. So 4 turns of setup, let alone your heal.
It's
you
4
got
turns of
basically-
setup, and you usually have to heal anyways because, like, even if you get through a few air slashes, the quick attack is going to force you to get off a red bar.
Which means basically you've got 5 turns with a 1 in 24 chance to crit you.
And depending on how good your special defense is, you may or may not die from full health, unlike Lance, where he can't crit you from full health, but every other turn is a risk. But here it's just like, I think I'm right on the cusp of, like, if I were full health, that is, I'm doing the math right now. It's like, it's even a range for me. You'd have to roll pretty good on a crit from full health, but it's still, like, likely. Yes, Champ has 6 Pokemon, but we don't use Psychic on Slowbro. We finish off with a Thunderbolt. And that is Let's Go Eevee.
GG's.
With no mount skips, but with the cutscenes. Time will be on the fade to black after the Hall of Fame sequence. And yeah, thank you for the GGs, everyone. This is like a super fun game. It's really easy to get into. Yeah, there are some nuances with the catching mechanics and some of the decision making, but our community is so grateful for anybody that wants to give this game a try. It is genuinely one of the best beginner Pokemon speedruns anybody can try out. Also, keep an eye out for a potential Let's Go tournament. Me and a bunch of friends are trying to put something together to encourage not just like long-time runners, but lots of new runners to get interested in this game. Time is coming up in like a second here. And time. So be on the lookout for that. If you want more information about this game, certainly head over to the Pokemon Switch speedrunning Discord. You can find all the links to that on SRC, speedrun.com, under the resources tab. And yeah, and we'd love to see you there. We do have like an awesome community. Everyone is super helpful. And you can even like DM me directly, and I would be more than happy to share either the public notes or my notes, or share information on what you would need to know about getting into this run. Again, this is...
That goes
I'm not kidding when I say this is the best beginner Pokemon speedrun to get into. Legends Arceus is the least beginner-friendly Pokemon speedrun to get into. That and like Fire Red Leaf Green. So if you're really into like the Kanto runs, like this is good. If you want something shorter, Red is always plenty good. It's easy to learn the manipulations for that one. Fire Red Leaf Green, stay away from that run. But yeah, honestly, if you want to, and one last thing is that if you want to see more of what I've been doing, make sure to follow me on Twitch. Again, ThomasPatrickWX. I speedrun all of the newer games, so all 5 of the mainline Switch games, Brilliant Diamond, Legends Arceus, Scarlet Violet, Sword and Shield, and this game are typically what you would see on my channel. And yeah, would love to have you around and just hang out, have a good time, and Yeah. And Razor, where we can find you and your speedrunning and nuzlocking, right?
So I'm at Razor's Edge 7 on Twitch, which right now I'm actually doing a Storm Silver hardcore nuzlocke, but yeah, I also speedrun Let's Go quite a bit. That's my primary speedrun. I will be learning the Catch 'em All for Legends Arceus after I finish Storm Silver.
That's a good really, really long-a-thon type run, because Catch 'em All and Legends Arceus is like 10 hours long on average.
Yeah, I need to talk to Hulk after I beat Storm Silver, so.
Yeah, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks to everybody that donated during the run. We super appreciate that. And yeah, there's still more marathon to go. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. That'll do it for us. Have a great weekend, great rest of the marathon. And we'll see you around, and hopefully we'll see you as well. And here's one Pet the Umbreon, just to finish up the stream for everyone.
Umbreon is great.
All right, bye everyone. Have a great marathon.